Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube. Doesn't that sound weird when I do it that way?
You are doing it that way.
I know. Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today we are answering your YouTube questions. And by we, I mean myself and my brother from the same mother, D. D, what is going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to apologize in advance. It is going to be one of those streams. Nick has a little bit of a sore throat, and we were joking before we went live, literally right before we went live, talking about we should just tone it down a little bit and have a little bit of a neutral voice. And I did, when he started doing it,
it's kind of a little unprepared.
Yeah,
didn't expect it.
I've never heard you tone it down like this.
Yeah, it felt weird. I was like, are we even like live right now? Yeah, it just kind of felt a little uncomfortable, a little weird.
Lower energy stream today.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? How was your week?
Yeah, everybody's doing fantastic. Hope you had a great week. Hope the last video that you published did awesome. And I do want to let you know, if you are watching this on the replay, we add timestamps down to the description. So those timestamps are there so that if you have a question about YouTube and you want to see if we've answered it already, you can go down and check that out. You can also see the questions that other people asked as well, because this stream is driven by the questions that are asked during the stream. So because of that, there might be things that you're wanting to uncover about YouTube or about, being a content creator in general that somebody else might have asked, and you'll be able to find, the answer to those questions down in the description below. And if you are here live and this is your first time here, I do want to let you know that this is all free, thanks to our sponsors, TubeBuddy and StreamYard, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. But there's a form down in the description right now where if you have a question about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, you can go ahead and put your question down into that form, and then we can get it answered on the stream today. So without further ado, I do want to let everybody know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery. TubeBuddy will help you test your thumbnails to make sure that the thumbnails that you are making for your videos are effective for the people that you're trying to reach and the traffic sources that you're trying to reach. In addition to that, TubeBuddy has all kinds of helpful tools that will help you with your YouTube channel. You can see their full list of everything that they can do for you at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin.
How many tools?
In addition to that,
to date,
this stream is co-brought to you by StreamYard, which is the live streaming platform that we use to live stream this every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the reason that we use StreamYard is because it's easy. It's easy to bring on guests. It's easy to run the show. They include the chats from all the different places that we're streaming to right now, which is fantastic. They also, and this is kind of like a hidden feature that a lot of people don't really know about StreamYard, they also push your stream through the cloud. And the advantage of that is, let's say that you're streaming and you have a tech problem or you have an internet connection problem or something like that. StreamYard will actually hold the connection open for you so that you can come back in on your phone and you can join while you're getting everything set back up, instead of losing all of the people that are hanging out in your live stream, which is fantastic. But you can try StreamYard out for yourself and see all the different things that it can do for you as well at StreamYard.com. And of course, I've got links to that down in the description as well.
It just feels weird.
It does. It feels weird, like, doing that too.
I cannot put into words how weird it feels having him here, and he's toned it down probably by 25%.
Yeah.
Usually he's really
probably 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably 50.
Yeah, probably 50.
40. Let's just meet halfway and say 40.
I don't know, man. I think 52.
52.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really toned down. And I feel...
it's different. Yeah, I feel like maybe we should be talking about like putting on shoes and sweaters.
Or Mr. Rogers style. Yeah. Or we could review golf channels today.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, if you have a golf channel, just sound off in the chat right now.
We are doing free channel reviews for golf channels. So if you do have a golf channel,
not really.
Let us know. Okay, so I want to bring to your attention the screen here in the background. Doug Hewson, YT. He's an awesome creator who teaches you how to be a better YouTuber, how to make content on your phone,
keeps you up to date with everything that's going on YouTube.
He's my go-to guy to learn what's going on with YouTube and stay up to date. He is at 9,980 something because Social Blade doesn't have it to the actual number. I think Doug says he's 983. We're going to do it for Doug today. This is the third week. This is the push. This is the big push to 10K.
Yeah, so he's just a few subscribers away. So there's a link to Doug's YouTube channel at the very top of the screen. So if you are, if you want to stay up to date on like new features, like for example, YouTube just opened up their creator app to a bunch more countries, and he's the first channel that I know of that put a video out about it. So if you want to make sure that you are on the cutting edge of you know what's happening right now, make sure you subscribe to his channel. There's a link at the very top of the chat right now. Also, I just want to say Mike Russell's in the house. What's going on, dude? I hope that you're doing fantastic. It's been a while. Hope that you are doing awesome, my man. He says right here, I heard you talking about multi-language audio recently, so I want it now. I'm refreshing my YouTube studio daily. Man, it's I actually just finished putting all of the subtitles or the multi-language audio that I'm going to be using into my thumbnail testing video. And I'm using that one as like the very first one, and I'm going to start adding them to more of the ones that have been, just getting impressions on them and all those things, and things that I think would be interesting to an international audience, as well as videos that I don't have thumbnails with text. So I'm adding it to those. But yeah, that particular one, I literally just finished adding them in there before the stream today. So, I can give you an update, in like a month or two, and just kind of let you know, if it made a difference or not.
Yeah. Jason Star Wars, how you doing, man? Nice to see you in here. Haven't seen you in a while. Okay, let's get into answering questions.
Neil?
Hey, Neil.
What's going on, dude? Hope that you're doing fantastic today.
What's the first question?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get some questions here. And just as a reminder, if you are just joining us, this is all free, thanks to our sponsors, TubeBuddy and StreamYard, and the other channel sponsors too. But if you want your question answered, if you have a question about anything that you're trying to learn or understand about YouTube, there's a form down in the description where you can put your question down into that form, and it'll pop up here on our end, and then we will answer them in the order that they come in. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the very first one is, the channel name is Target Audience. The link of the channel, oh, it is. That's actually the name of the channel too. But the type of channel is Star Trek reaction and discussion. And the goal of the channel is to financially support myself doing what I love, creating content. And the question is, my videos have a high amount of returning viewers. My audience is very engaged. I'm having trouble bringing in new viewers. What changes can I make to my content to bring in a wider audience while still pleasing my current engaged audience? That's a great question. So typically the path for this is talking about things that are more general in nature within the niche. So for example, since you are talking about Star Trek, in that particular case, this might be a little bit more challenging because people that are fans of Star Trek are probably interested in a lot of different things.
Star Trek.
Yeah, track. But the typical approach for this is to look at the content that you're making and think if you are having any type of like accessibility issues, meaning we're up to 10. Yep, so it's doing it in 10 increments. I'm over here doing
hand signals.
Yep, doing it in 10 increments, right?
Can you do this?
So we got 10 left.
Can you do it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Can you do it with both?
Yeah, of course.
All right, can you do this?
What do you think I am?
But can you do this one?
No, I can't do that one.
Okay. That one?
So, yeah. So basically the idea is that you want to try to make content that has the highest interest for the highest amount of people within the niche. So for example, if you're talking about very granular things about Star Trek, like maybe you have to be a super fan in order to, understand the things that you're talking about, or even be interested in the things that you're talking about. Thinking about like, okay, if somebody is interested in Star Trek, then what can I talk about that the most amount of people who are interested in Star Trek would also be interested in? And then when you start widening up the content in that way, then it makes it more interesting to more people, and then therefore you get in front of more new people at scale. Another thing as well is a huge factor is also going to be how people are responding to your content when it gets presented to them. Because sometimes, like when you publish your video, the first people that are going to see it are going to be the people that YouTube systems are predicting are the most likely to enjoy that content at that moment in time. In a lot of cases, those people are already engaged. So if they come in and they don't have, a great experience with that's competitive with other videos that, that they have the option to show the same audience that they would be showing your content to, then what can happen in that case is it can just kind of slowly kind of grind to a halt of sorts in that particular case. So because of that, video performance itself in terms of how people are responding to the content is also going to be a major factor. So to kind of wrap that one up, talking about content or talking about things that are as wide as possible within your niche, and then also making sure that you are paying attention to how people are responding to the videos. Like one thing, just to give you something tactical that you can do, is if you go into your YouTube analytics right now, go into your videos, go and look and see how people are responding, in the subscription feed, and then go and look and see how people are responding. And you do this by going into your analytics for the individual piece of content. And then from your analytics, you want to click on advanced mode, which is going to be up in the top right-hand corner. And then from there, you're going to click on traffic sources, which is going to be in the middle of the screen, a little bit over to the left. And when you click on that, it's going to show you the different pages of YouTube, and you can see how people are responding to what it is that you're doing on those different pages. So you can use this to inform yourself on where you might be lacking. So for example, if your subscribers, through browse features, if you click into that, you'll see, the subscription feed. Like if they're responding highly, then in that particular case, that's good because it's of interest to them. But if you find that people aren't responding in suggested videos, or they're not responding that well on the homepage, then in that particular case, it could mean that like if somebody's already engaged and they're getting recommended the content, then people are responding there. Maybe if they're getting notifications, things like that, they're coming in. But if your content is just showing up on somebody's homepage without them knowing anything about you or your channel or anything like that, then maybe you're having a difficult time getting some of those people to actually click on your video, come in and enjoy the content. So I would just use that to kind of inform yourself on, things that you could do to maybe, help emphasize that it's about Star Trek or something like that. So that when it does show up on home pages, it's just crystal clear to people that it is about that, so that will grab their attention, and then hopefully the topic itself is broad enough that enough Star Trek fans will be, interested in it to, to have more new people clicking on what it is that you're doing.
You've got some super chats.
All right. So first one, Tube Spanner, thanks for the super chat. Says, did you see that channel about algae and fungi past 1 million subs? If I, it blew up with all of the Lynching subscribed. Yeah, I don't get it. You get it? I don't know what lynching is.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's smart, so she uses stuff like that. I don't know what lynching is. Yeah, so that one didn't land. Yep. For the intelligent folks here in the stream. For the intelligent folks in the stream, it might have landed.
Definitely did not land over here.
Yep.
You all right?
Yeah, this is what happened to me yesterday.
Yeah, so it's going to be one of those streams, just to give you a heads up. So Nick came in with a really, really, really sore throat. You mentioned yesterday. You might have to cut today's stream short, depending on how it works out. So if you just see abrupt chaos.
I'm actually going to step away for a second.
Yeah. So if you see abrupt chaos and the camera is going up every which way. Whoa, let me turn him down. He is struggling. Good? Okay, so I don't have access to the while he is gathering himself and hydrating. I don't have access to the form right now. I don't know how to set up. So if you have questions in the chat, if you have questions, go ahead and ask some questions. I'll do my best to get some of them here. I know there's a little bit of a delay. I'm going to save the super chats for Nick because I know that you so I'm going to go through and just randomly grab some of these out here. The first one here is from the community, clever name. Any thoughts on doing giveaways during live shows? I hope to get 100 subscribers. I just started in January I want to celebrate. Is that silly? Should I wait to hit 500 or 1,000? Okay, here's the thing with giveaways. Don't do giveaways on your channels as a way to incentivize people to subscribe to your channel or become. If you want to do a giveaway, just celebrate in general. You can do that. In my opinion, I think 100 subscribers. I mean, look, celebrate your wins.
Yep.
Celebrate your wins, but to start giving stuff away at 100 subscribers, if it were me, I would hold on to that. I would hold on to that till it's
your mic is off.
My mic is off?
Yeah, so I think you turned yours and mine off.
That's just great. So I've been sitting here talking the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
hilarious. So we're off to a great start.
Yeah, listen, that's the...
Glad we're multicasting, so we can go out to as many platforms as possible.
How is that even possible?
Yeah.
I muted yours.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm sitting here answering questions with a mic muted and your coughing
is mine
in the
on?
background. Yeah. Yours is on the entire time when you were coughing.
Great.
So, you know what? I'm going to excuse myself.
Yeah, all right, now it's your turn. So, Stormy Scale Rail Productions, thank you for your membership for 22 months. Super appreciated. Says, will channel members see ads on videos if the video is monetized, or if you turn monetization off on a members only video, will it still play ads? If you are monetized and you turn off the ads, then people won't see the ads anywhere. If you're not monetized, then people will see the ads on the outside, non-members. I'm not sure if channel members will see ads on those or not. I'm not sure if they will put ads on the members only video. It's a great question, but I'm not sure of the answer of that one.
Okay.
The next one.
Hold on. Yeah, I just want to address this for a second. I muted my mic.
Okay.
Say something.
Something.
All right. This is my mic right here.
Okay.
That's the one I'm...
Neil,
yep.
Urban Van Life says, how's the dog? Hope she's okay. Ours just had 5 puppies and another 5 from another dog coming at the end of March. Nice. Love it. Yeah, so Popcorn's fine. So I was streaming the other day on this channel, did a vertical stream, and right after the stream started, my dog got stung by a scorpion. And I had to, abruptly, end the stream. We rushed him to the, vet and all that stuff, but he's perfectly fine. So apparently he got hit by the scorpion, but he didn't actually get stung by the scorpion, which was a win. But yeah, we were freaking out. Thanks for asking, and congratulations on your extended puppy family as well.
Doug says he is at 9,997.
Nice.
Oh wow, 9,998.
Here we go. 2 more people.
Here we go. Doug's about to hit 10,000. I do for Doug.
Yeah, Brian G. Johnson in the house. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing
Brian
fantastic.
G.
Brian G. right here. Tube Ritual, Volume 1. Get it on Amazon. So, SM Postcard says, for the cough drop fund, I've got one in my mouth right now, trying not to let it clack around too much. So, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And then we have L. Whale. Says, starting a video essay channel using copyrighted content in 100% fair use. Where can I find the complete info on how exactly to counter automated? Woo! Congratulations, Doug Hewson, YT, my man, for hitting 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Love seeing that. Let's just keep that up the rest of the stream. You want to?
Yep.
Yeah. So congratulations to you, Doug, for hitting 10,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. High five and fist bump, my man. Absolutely love seeing that.
Congratulations. And as punishment for obviously hitting the wrong mute button, let's leave this up so it burns into the TV.
Oh, yeah, because it doesn't move.
So I have to buy a new TV.
Okay.
As punishment.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's either
sounds
that or you burn me with cigars later.
Okay.
One
yeah,
or the
your
other.
call. You just pick one.
Okay.
So, we'll see.
We'll do
it's your
cigars
call.
again. We'll do cigars again.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
So
that's awesome, man. 10,000.
Yeah, congratulations, dude.
Well done, man. Well done.
Yep. Absolutely well done.
Yeah.
So L. Well says, starting an essay channel using copyrighted content in 100% fair use. Where can I find complete info on how exactly to counter automated DMCA claims and copyright strikes just for the vid to stay up? So what's going to happen is when you get one of those claims, you're going to have that option within your admin. It's just going to pop up there as part of the video to where you can dispute the claim that comes in. So with your type of content, since you are going to be using copyrighted material, that's going to be something you're going to start doing on a regular basis probably, because you're probably going to be getting hit a lot. So you're going to get really familiar with it. But what's going to happen is when that notification comes in, then in your admin for that particular video, you're gonna see that pop up, and then you'll be able to deal with it there. So it's literally just buttons that you press. So it's not a complicated thing at all.
Yeah, and just as a heads up, it also does not mean that you're going to win every dispute.
Right.
Sometimes you don't win them.
Right.
So just be warned.
Be warned. You have been warned.
Yeah. Sometimes you might think you can use something through fair use, and you're wrong. Yeah.
So next up, we got Trying to Learn Bikes. Trying to Learn Bikes uploads 1 time per week or more. They have a DIY motorcycle culture channel. The goal of the channel is uploading for the challenge. The question is, we constantly hear how crowded YouTube is with around 114 million active channels and loads of new channels created every day. But what constitutes an active channel? Could 3 videos a year be called an active channel if they were consistent from year to year? Also, is your dog okay? Yeah. So, popcorn is fine. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. So when it comes of what YouTube defines as an active channel, I'm not sure what that is. That's nothing that I've ever, ran across publicly in terms of just public information on like, this is how we define, what if a channel is active or not. I know some channels, they upload like once a month, that type of thing. And those are, obviously active if people are coming in and interacting with the content. But for YouTube, their definition of, okay, now we have deemed this channel as not being an active channel, I don't know if that comes down to you uploading or if that comes down to people not interacting with the content anymore. I'm not sure which one it is. If Richie happens to be in the house, if you have that clarity, if you could add that. If not, then, that's fine. That's fine too. Because that's a pretty nuanced question. I'm really not sure. I wouldn't even know outside of maybe reaching out to like Team YouTube on Twitter.
Boy. Yeah, he's roughing it today. Whatever you do, don't choke on that mint.
Yeah.
That would just break my heart. Yeah. I'm assuming I muted the right mic this time.
Possibly.
You okay?
Yep.
All right. We're back.
All right.
By the way, you got some super chats. You got a handful of super chats. I don't know if you went through them.
I got them all.
Yeah, you got Creator Classroom. You got one from Tube Spanner. You got
okay.
Stormy Sky Whale Productions, Fine Tip Creative Studios. Yeah, head over to Starred.
Yep, got it. Okay. So Fine Tip Creative Studio, thank you for the super chat. It says, thanks for the advice you gave us. We finally got our monetization back using your tips. Awesome. High five, fist bump. Absolutely love seeing that. Got that. We got SM postcards already, and we got El Whale. Yeah, got them all, except
Neil?
For the Fine Tip. Yep.
You got Neil? You got SM postcards?
Yep.
Thank you, man. Hope you're doing well. SM
Got everybody.
postcards. Yep.
Yep.
El Whale, you got them. Okay. You got 86th for 24 months. I heard there were new rules rolling out for AI content. Could you elaborate on this and what the risks are?
Yeah, so the risks are if it's completely AI generated content, then you have to disclose it. When it comes to using AI, with your content, basically the whole thing is just that you have to disclose it. If you don't disclose it, then your channel is going to be put at risk at that point. So I think at one point in the future, and I'm really not sure how they're going to handle this, to be honest with you. Like in the future, right now.
Here's what I think is going to happen. Remember the whack-a-mole game? Mm-hmm. Remember that? You got the little bats that would come out and you're whacking each one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think YouTube is going to be playing whack-a-mole for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put policy in place about AI content, and and then people are going to find ways to circumvent that. Mm-hmm. AI content is going to continue to get better and better, so they're going to be fixed. They're just going to be plugging. I think whack-a-mole might be the wrong one. It might be like the sinking boat where you're like plugging the holes.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they got their hands full for a couple of years.
So right now on Reddit, in the Chat GPT group, I think it's either Chat GPT or Midjourney.
Yeah.
People are posting photos side by side.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, which one is the AI?
You can't tell.
And some of them you can, because it'll be like the shadow isn't right on this one, or you get to see inaccuracies like that. But when you just look at them,
you got to pixel.
If you're not examining in them, you can't tell them apart.
Yeah,
yeah. So because of that, as soon as all that gets applied to video, which video is just that times 30, in consistency. So, I think all of that is going to get really hard for their systems to be able to distinguish what is real and what isn't. And I think that's going to be a really interesting thing moving into the future. Like once we hit that threshold to where every service that you use to make AI generated videos looks real, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do that. Well,
Brian just says here, he says one thing about AIs is there've always been a lot of spamming, low quality content, and people, we don't see it because people don't watch it. And where I think this is going to change, and again, you still have to be a good storyteller,
right?
Just because you have an access to a tool that can create a realistic looking image or a realistic looking video, that doesn't mean you can put them together in a way to make a compelling video to make someone want to watch it.
Right.
But assuming you can, I think we're going to see a flood of. Storytelling. That's the tool,
right? And it's also going to remove the barrier of having to be on camera,
right?
So let's say that you're somebody that likes to write books, and you're really good at writing books. Yep. But let's say that nothing really gets tons of traction because you don't have any marketing, behind you or anything like that.
Right.
And you're like, hey, I've got all these AI tools. Let me actually turn some of these books into movies.
Right.
And then they get good at that too. Or they're just, good at video and they decide to start making AI generated like sci-fi stories and love stories and all this stuff. Yeah, I think entire new genres are going to be spawned out of all this stuff to where it's going to be, Bob sitting at home or Jane sitting at home, and they are going to be like, hey, let me, just spend the next month building out this amazing story using AI.
Here's the thing, like Brian just mentioned with Sora. If you don't know what Sora AI is, go do your homework after this stream is over. But we are rapidly approaching the point, to where you're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
To where the average person is not
6 months to a year. Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, we're rapidly getting to the point where you are not going to be able to tell the difference. The average person out there, the average consumer on YouTube, will not be able to tell the difference between what an AI generated image or video or a human. So it's going to come down to storytelling.
Yep.
That's going to come down to storytelling. So if you're one of those people who want to capitalize on AI, or you want to get on YouTube and you've always been afraid of putting yourself out there for whatever,
tell a good story.
Everyone has their reasons for why they don't want to be on camera, and I totally respect that. But if that's you, your time is now. Right now is the time to learn about AI and to learn about storytelling. So go to Skillshare or go to wherever you need to go and start learning how to write good stories, YouTube, whatever, because that's where it's going to be if you're going to start capitalizing on AI. Like if that's where you're putting everything. Like, I don't want to be on camera. I want to do everything with AI. You better learn storytelling.
And with that too, like I think people will start building, like, kind of like how they do with YouTube automation now. I think there'll be some people that will start building like teams around it. They'll start having a bunch of different channels doing that. And I think it's going to be really interesting. But the one thing that is, the win is, yes, storytelling is always the win. But, as a creator, you're also going to, have people, for the rest of us, we're also going to have people that, still want to learn from us, that still want to watch us, that still want to follow you around on your vlog and, things like that. Because things like that are things that, AI can't, fully do. That it'll be able to teach. It'll be able to teach. But like following people around on a vlog and stuff like that, not yet. But yeah, being able to have a character and actually make up vlogs as part of that story, you will be able to do that.
And I just want to be clear. When I say storytelling, I don't necessarily mean once upon a time thing. I mean, like, just being able to move someone from a beginning to an end of a video in a manner that holds their attention. It could be in an educational way. It could be in a once upon a time. It could be in some, a documentary layout, or big budget layout that you do, because you see with the Sora, they're already doing like sci-fi stuff. The guy on Mars walking to the spaceship.
His stuff is next level. That stuff
rivals,
is great.
That rivals anything coming out of Hollywood.
Yeah, it does. When I see that, I think about the Netflix series that Neil deGrasse Tyson did where he's like standing in the spaceship and like all that, and that whole thing's going on. Like, that person is recreating that in his like home. Yeah, it's insane. Absolutely insane. So the next channel that we have here is Build with Mooney. Build with Mooney uploads when they have time. The type of channel is woodworking. The goal of the channel is to share and teach. The question is, hey, Nick, when you reviewed my channel last week, you mentioned affiliate links for products like Home Depot, Amazon, Lowe's, etc. I don't know if I qualify or how they work because I just don't know. Okay, so the very first step is to just go to their websites, look for the affiliate program. Usually you'll find that down in the footer of the website, the very bottom of the website. And then basically you want to click on it'll either be named like their partner program or their affiliate program. You want to click into that, or something of similar language. You want to click into that and then just go through the process of filling out any application that they have. And then from there, you'll find out the ones that do approve you and the ones that do not. And then from there, once you get the approvals on whichever ones approve you, then, you start including those. If you don't get approved by anybody, then keep working on your channel, and eventually, you will, be able to apply and they will approve you. So next up on the list,
we have another super chat that you missed from Her Real Review.
I don't see that here. Let me just hit the refresh button in here.
Yep. You're looking in the starred. Should be the latest super chat on there.
Okay, I see it.
Got it.
Why are subs current in earn tab, but not watch time? How long does it take? I have no private or unlisted videos. Reached out to Team YouTube, but no bueno. Yeah, so when it comes to the stats that you're seeing inside of your YouTube channel, like, another thing that you'll notice is, like, let's say you publish something recently. In that particular case, you'll find that, like, okay, if I go and I find it in YouTube search, the view count's going to look different than if it's on my homepage versus what the view count looks like on the actual watch page versus, if it shows up on like a homepage, right? So because of that, there's like caching issues that take place. You got to remember that YouTube's bouncing all this stuff through like content delivery networks and all that stuff. But then they also have all their back end stuff that's happening. So when views are coming in, they're verifying views and, all that stuff. So there's a lot of, moving parts there. So things will catch up. But if you are, seeing some type of inconsistency there, then like here, you have like the subs are current, but the watch time isn't. It could be that they're just going through the process of verifying the watch time that's coming in, or there's things that you might have deleted. You say here that you have no private or unlisted videos. So as long as you haven't deleted any, then in that particular case, that should catch up and it should be legitimate.
So Doug hit 10,000.
Yep.
I also want to mention that both Daniel Battelle
and Paul Peck
Drywall Tube,
yep,
they hit 300,000 subscribers. So I don't know if you guys are lurking or if you're going to see this later, but congratulations to both of you guys.
Yep.
Well deserved. Mm-hmm. Well deserved.
Yep. Crushing. Both of them.
Yep.
Love it.
Love the wins.
All day. So next up, we've got Lavalaise Pictures. The type of channels they comment on sci-fi, fantasy, and action movie and TV shows. The goal is to become a full-time YouTuber. And the question is it necessary to write descriptions for shorts? It's not a requirement, but a good rule of thumb is if YouTube has a feature that you can fill out when you are, uploading your content, you want to use it. So the same exact thing applies to like tags, for example. They don't, hold like any real value, but as soon as it 100% doesn't have any real purpose to be there, YouTube's going to take it away. They have no problem, moving features, taking away features, adding features, all that stuff. When something 100% doesn't matter, then they won't have it available anymore. So if there's a description field in your shorts and you want to do everything that you can possibly do in order to give yourself as much of an advantage as humanly possible, even if it is something minor like writing a description, in that particular case, absolutely do it. Now, if you want to go the lazy route, which, all of us do sometimes, but if you want to go the lazy route, you're like, hey, I just want to upload these shorts, whatever, don't care. I just want to, get the shorts out there and I'm just going to lean on the video content and the title to, get the, attention that I'm after there. Then in that particular case, you can do that too. But if you want to give yourself every possible edge, use your descriptions. Make sure, obviously you're going to write a title, but use your descriptions on every piece of content that you publish. You want to make sure that you are using, everything in the back end, that you have all your boxes checked, that you have, all your language settings set up. You want to make sure that you're using channel keywords, on your page. You want to make sure you're captioning your videos. You want to make sure that you're translating the captions on your videos and the metadata on your videos as well. If you have access to it, you want to make sure that you're using multi-language audio. You want to make sure that you have your channel page set up properly. Like if you're wanting to give yourself every possible advantage and remove, any possibility of people not having clarity with what it is that you're doing and every possibility of maybe that thing making a difference with what it is that you're doing, then in that particular case, use those features. If they're not important, then YouTube will remove them. So because of that, use everything that's there. And then as soon as YouTube says, hey, you know what, 100% this doesn't matter anymore, then that feature is going to be gone. And another thing too, Renee Ritchie, who's YouTube's creator liaison, he says, just don't spend 95% of your time on metadata as a way to procrastinate spending 95% of your time on making better videos. Absolutely. Yeah, you can't keyword phrase your way to success with with bad content. So next up, we got Suburban Acreage. Suburban Acreage does DIY tutorials and tool reviews surrounding home ownership and lawn care. The goal of the channel is to share information, build community, and make a little money. And the question is, I really like the ditto dubbing stream you did with Daryl, and I get the concept of adding languages to a video. And Daryl even mentioned that YouTube wants you to be on one channel instead of different channels for each language. However, Daryl also kept talking about his creators who launched separate channels for different languages. He would say things like, so-and-so got their Spanish channel monetized in 9 days, and their German channel is even faster. So what's the move? It seems like he was saying one channel, but kept giving examples. Sounded like creators were doing multiples, and I hope Popcorn is okay. So Popcorn is doing good. Thank you for asking. So here's what you got to think about is right now, not everybody has access to the multi-language audio feature on one channel. So if you're wanting to take advantage of that feature, but you don't have it yet, and you're like, hey, I have the ability to have AI translate, all of my audio for me, but I want to deploy this, but I don't have access to that on my channel currently, then in that particular case, then you can start a new channel and do it there. But if you have it on your main channel, then in that particular case, that's where you're like, okay, let me just do it on my main channel then. That's the whole idea. So when you are, publishing your videos to your, main channel, if you have that feature, then, go ahead and add those things. But if you don't have it, then you don't have a choice if you want to use that feature other than I'm going to start some new channels and get everything translated as well. There's another side of this too. And the other side of it is not just that you might not have the feature, but it's also that feature is limited. Right now, it's just multi-language audio. So if you are a creator that says, hey, I want to have my channel art in this other language, I want to have my thumbnails in this other language as well, the graphics in my thumbnails and the graphics in my videos, and I want to have like the entire package in this other language, then in that particular case, that's another one to where you're like, okay, let me start a new channel for it. Because then in that particular case, you would make everything, translate everything it is that you're doing into those other languages. But again, if you're like, hey, I just want the multi-language audio and to translate the metadata, then, you can do that on your main channel until, features like that, hopefully, sometime in the future, fingers crossed, ends up happening, on every channel on YouTube. Great question, though. Thanks for asking.
Wild.
And what they're talking about really quick is ditto dubbing. So if you haven't watched the stream I did with Daryl Leaves, it was a few streams ago. Really awesome stream. I'm just talking about the power of translating your audio into multi-languages, because some channels right now, YouTube's testing a feature where you can upload different audio tracks. So I have one that I just finished doing right before this stream. It's a thumbnail video that highlights the A/B testing feature, and I just finished uploading all the audio dubs for the languages that I'm going to do there. And then as I progress through time, I'm going to be going back and doing it through videos that have been proven performers on my channel to see if I can breathe some extra life into them from the other languages, because they can still add value there.
Neil said a few of the jump starters have blown up channels. One is looking at 10 channels by the end of the month. He just had his Spanish channel monetized in 48 hours.
Nice.
That's insane.
It is.
That's wild.
Yep. But it shows though, right? Because, okay, so what you're doing there is you're taking a content creator that already knows how to make content. You already know the content that performs well. You already have all of that stuff. Right. So you're like, hey, let me just deploy with this. Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So Fine Tip Creative Studio.
That's still impressive though.
Oh, it is.
48 hours.
Yeah.
Like that's
definitely
nuts. Yeah.
It is. Hey, I got to step away real quick.
Yeah. So hold on, let me mute you again. Yeah, so what we need to do is here's what we're going to do. So Nick is obviously having some problems, and I don't have access to the forum, and I'm not going to be handling the super chat. So here's what I'd like for you to do. If you have questions, ask them in the chat. So Nick's going to cover everything in the forum. He's going to cover everything with the super chats. Go ahead and ask questions in the chat, and I'll just randomly grab things coming out of there. Doug now has 10,005. Way to go, man. 10,005, dude. I love to see it. Yeah, Chantel says put a Q in front. It helps Nick see your question. It helps D see your question as well. Yes, it helps me identify that it is a question, because I have a feeling that we're going to be doing a lot of back and forth like this today. If Nick has to step away with the coughing, that's going to allow me to scroll back and forth to find questions without having to ask him and wait for them to come in. I can just scroll back and forth and try to find questions to answer. Renee Ritchie, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Hold on here. So Neil asked, D, I've seen an update. Oh, where'd it go? It just spun past. I just saw an update that uses AI to change your actual mouth movement to looks like you're talking to. Yeah, I've seen that. So for those of you, what's it called? Hey Jen? Hey Jen. Yep. Yeah, Hey Jen. So it actually AI regenerates your mouth so it looks like you are speaking the language. So if I make my video in English and I want to overdub it in Spanish, it will create the Spanish speaking audio and then change my mouth so it looks like I'm speaking Spanish or Russian, Mandarin, whatever, Portuguese, or what language? Japanese? What Klingon? Mm-hmm. All right. Are you back?
Mr. Beast has Klingon in his audio translations.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, if you go to his most recent video and you look, he has Klingon in there. Yep.
Okay, if I go there and I look and it's not there,
what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna end the stream.
Okay. All right, go.
All right. I'm not kidding. I'll end the stream. All right.
So next up,
let's go.
We've got Fine Tip Creative Studio.
You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. I'll just turn it off.
You think I'm kidding? It's there.
I'll just turn it off.
Yep. So Fine Tip Creative Studio is our next question. They do creativity and collectibles. The goal of the channel is to share products and experiences. And the question is, does the new YouTube promotion help find your audience? We have a variety channel that's gotten subs, but watchers don't normally come back for unboxings, which is our primary content. So the first thing I want to talk about is just having a variety channel. So if your goal is to share products and experiences.
Oh my God, he does.
I know.
You weren't kidding me.
Right.
No way.
Yep.
No way.
No way.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I show this on here? Nope.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. So he has, I'm blown away. Mm-hmm. So he has, here's all the options. He has
15 different options.
Vietnamese, Bangla, Indonesian, Hindi, Korean, French, Thai, Turkish, Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, English, which is original, Klingon, Russian, and Japanese.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
I thought you were kidding.
Nope.
I had my finger on the end stream button up here.
That's why I spoke with confidence. Because I saw your finger, and I was like, nah, dude, you got to go check.
That is crazy.
Then in my mind, I'm like, God, I hope it was the last video. And not like, I hope it didn't just publish like since yesterday. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's how he rolls.
So Fine Tip Creative Studio uploads one time per week or more. They do creativity and collectibles. The goal of the channel is to share products and experiences. And the question is, does the YouTube promotion tab help you find your audience? And the thing is that they have a variety channel. They've gotten subscribers, but watchers don't usually come back. Okay. So if you have a variety channel, first let's talk about the complication that you're creating for yourself there. It's okay to have, different content that you put out, different formats of content that you put out, all of that. But the problem with a total variety channel where you're uploading a bunch of different things is this. Let's say, because my channel is about helping content creators thrive on YouTube. Let's say tomorrow I uploaded a video about how to set up an iPhone. Right? A lot of people aren't going to click on that video or care about that video as it relates to me and my content. And then let's say the day after that, I upload a video reviewing Brian G. Johnson's Tube Ritual book. Well, in that particular case, some of you would actually click on that. I have that video on my channel, but some of you would click on it and come in and watch. And then, but a lot of you, if it wasn't related to YouTube, would be like, this is weird. Why is Nick, kind of doing that? Or you would just skim right over it because it doesn't have anything to do with YouTube. If we apply that to, the video after that, I make a video about, my ideas of what fashion is, then in that particular case, a lot of you aren't going to care. So the problem with the variety content is that you break the chain of people wanting to come back to your channel based on the things that they are interested in. So the thing that most content creators want is they want to be able to publish content, anything that they want. And then they have that core fan base that'll come in and enjoy the content regardless of what it is. That's what everybody wants. But the problem is that you have to bait people with the content that they care about. So, of course, once you reach a certain point, and if you are just nailing that target audience with the content that you're making around the things that they care about or the things that they, have gotten to, know from you, then in that particular case, you might be able to publish an outlier here and there, and they can still come in and respond to it. But the problem is new people. So let's say, for example, if somebody published a video today that you watch, and it was the first video that you've ever experienced from that creator, and you're like, wow, this is great. I watched this all the way to the end. I even clicked on the end screen and watched the video that they said to watch there because it was of interest to me. And I subscribed to the channel. I liked it. I even shared it out on Twitter because I thought it was awesome. It was my first time, interacting with this creator. And then the next 5 videos that they publish are about things that you don't care about. Well, in that particular case, you're not going to click on those videos because they're about things that you don't care about. So the problem with variety channels is that, to where if you're uploading a bunch of random content, a variety of content, it can create this situation where you're uploading a bunch of stuff, but there's no real reason for people to keep coming back, especially video after video. So one thing to think about, and I know we're not even to the answer to your question yet. I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of, of how that works. But when it comes to the actual question, the promotions tab helps find your audience based on the people that are already interacting with your channel. Now, of course, that's a checkbox to where it's like, hey, I want this to go out to, people that are like my subscribers. And if you do that, then in my opinion, you're going to end up creating a similar situation, because then it's still like, okay, well, hey, if it's based on the subscribers, then in that particular case, like, which of those subscribers is it going to show it to? So the first thing that I would do in your case is I would actually kind of take a step back and look at what it is that you're doing and think to yourself, like, okay, if I'm going to turn my YouTube channel into a resource for a certain type of person that's interested in certain things, and I'm going to be at the center of it, right? Like, I'm going to be the one making the content. But if I'm going to turn my channel into a resource for people that are interested in certain things, then who are those people? What are they interested in? What do they care about? What are the things that they like? What are the things that they don't like? What are the things they think about? What are the things that, bother them? What are the things that get them excited? And you want to think about, all of those types of things. And then before you publish another video, not before you publish another video to the channel, but as you're working this stuff out, you want to get it to the point to where you run all your videos through a filter. And that filter is for this target person or this target group that I'm trying to reach. Is this video that I'm getting ready to publish in alignment with, one, the resource that I'm trying to build, my channel, that destination I'm trying to create, but 2, is it in alignment with that person I'm trying to reach? If the answer is yes, then it would go on that same channel. If the answer is no, then in that particular case, if you still want to make that content, then I would put that on a different channel. So the whole idea is when you're creating a YouTube channel, you want to think about it through the lens of, I'm creating this resource of a bunch of content for a particular type of person that's interested in very specific things. And then you want to just deliver that content as much as you possibly can, and then just learn how to do it better and better and better over time. So I would try to do that.
Next.
And really quick, Renee also mentioned He says, in his personal opinion, the best use of promotions is when you can make more money than you spend, like a high value conversion on a sponsor, affiliate, or product link when it makes you money. Yeah. And that's the thing with just ads in general. If it's through the promotions tab or if it's using, Google ads or something, same exact thing. Like if you're doing it for the sake of getting vanity numbers, it doesn't really make sense, because then you're just taking the L. But if you are like, hey, I've got this affiliate video that I'm making and I want to drive traffic to that, then in that particular case, all you're doing is you're creating an ad campaign for that particular video, and then you're using that video as the thing that you're trying to use to convert people into that thing that you're trying to do. So yeah, 100%. Next up, we've got...
Do you have a lozenge?
I do.
Do you? Mm-hmm. What a weird word that is.
It is a weird word.
Lozenges.
Yeah, lozenge.
Right?
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah.
Lozenges. That's one of those words.
I wonder if it's like that word that Danielle said earlier. What was that one? Litchi or something like that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know what a litchi is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Danielle, if you're still hanging out, if you could just send me a Facebook message and let me know what a litchi is. Oh, he fell under the 10K.
Oh no!
Somebody left Doug's. Yep, somebody left there, Doug.
Lozenges is one of those words where you're like laying in bed at night, you're thinking of like silly words.
And you're like, who came up with a lozenge?
You ever get stuck on those words and it just makes you question life in general?
Yeah, even like spoon. If you say that enough, it starts to be really, it's like spoon. That's just a
so
weird,
stupid.
This language is just weird.
Yeah.
All right.
It's lichen, not lichen. Lichen.
Her Heel Review.
There we go.
They do TV and movie reviews. The goal of the channel is to build a community of people, especially women who love movies and love the art of analyzed movies. I love how you're dialing that in over time, by the way. Question, brand deals. How to reach out to brands as a small creator. Easiest way to do it, if you make content about them. He's at 9999. So he's there. He's just one off. So do we celebrate again when he hits it again? Yeah.
We're going to celebrate again.
Yeah. Well, we can't, because then people will go and unsubscribe just for the sake of the novelty.
There you go.
But
shame on you, whoever unsubscribed.
Right.
Shame. Mm-hmm. Shame on you. Mods, if you find out who they are, ban them from the channel. ban them from YouTube, mods.
Not really. Okay, so the easiest thing that you can do to put yourself on the radar, because the whole thing is just getting on the radar. So the easiest thing that you can do is when you make a piece of content that might already mention those brands in the first place, tag them. Post those videos to LinkedIn, post those videos to Twitter, post those videos to anywhere where you can tag those companies. And they have people that look for those things. So if you want to get yourself on the radar, make content about them already and then tag them. It's kind of a paying it forward type of thing. Another thing that you can do is literally send them emails.
I just want to say really quick, make sure, if you tag a brand, be sure that brand doesn't just take your video and start using it as advertising or something like that. I've seen that happen before, where they just randomly take people's videos and use them for ads. So keep an eye on your stuff.
Yeah. You can also just send emails too. So basically get a good professional email together. Yeah. And when you send those emails, you can do a couple different versions. The one version is, hey, I make this type of content. This is my channel. This is my audience. If you ever do, any influencer marketing, keep me in mind. That's one email. Another option that you can do is, hey, I'm working on this video. I'm going to be doing this and showcasing this, and I'm going to be doing this. And I actually land on your product here, at the end of the video is the solution to this thing. I would love to collaborate with you in some way on this. Is that something that you're interested in? And then open up with that for the sake of, you're doing the outreach, you're putting yourself on the radar, and then you're telling them your video idea. You're letting them know this is what I'm working on. You would be the perfect fit for it. Is this something that you would like to be involved with? Yeah. And then that way you're coming at it with a plan and an idea, and then inviting them in that way. That's the one way. And then the other way, is that you are, that you are just putting yourself on the radar.
Yeah. Just to expand on that, reaching out to a brand with, hey, do you want to partner up on something? It's vague.
Yeah.
If you're reaching out to somebody,
be specific.
Yeah. If you're reaching out with somebody,
that's what I said. Like I'm working on this video.
But be very specific. Don't just say I'm working on a video. Right. Be very specific about what the video is and how their product can be integrated into the video, and tell them about what your audience is. Tell them who your audience is, because it has to make sense for the brand. Listen, people are busy. People don't have time. Give them all of the information so they don't have to write you back to say, well, what's your channel about? Right. What's your demographics? Give them everything. Yep. Way to go, Doug. Yeah, we're not going to do that again. By the way, that was it. That was it.
We can just do a little bit of these, I guess.
Way to go, Doug. That was it. Yeah, and I just want to know, what is Doug talking about to make YouTube take subscribers away from him?
Oh, geez, here we go.
What are they
You're
doing?
one of those?
Yeah.
You're one of those?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? You're one of those?
Doug is trying to spread the truth about something, and
Oh,
YouTube is
geez.
clearly taking subscribers away from Doug.
Here we go.
What
They're
are you
trying to hold him back?
Yeah, YouTube is trying to hold Doug down.
D.
They're
He's drinking
trying-
the Kool-Aid.
they're
No,
trying-
stop.
They're trying to
stop.
hold Doug down. Doug, what are you talking about over there? Talking about the YT Studio app? Talking about that? Huh? Yeah, talking about Twitch, and they're trying to hold you down? Is that what it is?
Love it. So funny. Yeah, Renee's in the chat. You know, he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, hit 10K.
Dude.
Let's take him down one."
No. As soon as
Yeah,
it hit
delete,
10K,
delete.
as soon as it hit 10K, Renee was like this. He's like, "I'll see about that."
Yeah, see if Doug crosses 10K.
Yeah,
right.
Not on my watch.
Yeah, Doug's
He's
like, "Help Renee, help." Yeah,
yeah,
that's funny.
Renee's like, "Not on my watch."
Yeah, that's good
He's
language
just-
too. Yeah, Chantel's like, "Oh, Doug's being shadow banned now that he crossed 10K."
That's right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
That's right.
Oh, so funny.
Doug's out there
Yep.
spreading the
Drinking
truth.
that Kool-Aid.
Yep.
I'm not a cat says it's a conspiracy. Yep.
Always.
Yep.
Always. Hey, Nikki, nice to see you in here.
All right, so Pure Life Pure Life Pursuit says they upload bi-weekly content. The type of channel is simple living and lifestyle content. The goal of the channel is build public speaking confidence and have fun. That's cool. The question is, how long should you wait for your video to get traction before you change the title and thumbnail? I'm trying to be patient on some of these, as my best video took almost 2 weeks to launch, but with that video success, I feel more impatient that all of my uploads should get 1,000 views instead of 20 to 30 that they normally get. So here's what you want to do. You want to keep publishing the videos to your YouTube channel. You want to pay really close attention. Go look in your analytics to see how people responded to the one that that did better. And what you want to do is you want to look at the impressions that it had before it started doing better. And right now, because you only have that one video to work off of, so you don't have tons of information on your channel. But one thing that you can do is you can start building a baseline. So what that means is you can go in and you can start looking and you can say, okay, for my videos that perform well, and right now you only have one to work off of, so you don't have tons of information, but it's a lead, right? It's a place to start. So what you can do is you can start saying, okay, this video, when it had this many impressions, it was sitting around here, and you can find all this in your analytics. So this video here, when it had about this many impressions, this was about the click-through rate on home pages. This was about the response in terms of view duration, all that stuff on the different pages of YouTube. And you can try to use that click-through rate, and because we're just talking about the thumbnail and title, you can start to use that as kind of a gauge as the click-through rate by itself, to where it's like, hey, let's say you got 100,000 impressions on that video that did well. And out of that, you had, a decent amount of people, actually clicking on that particular video to get you the views that you got. Then in that case, what you could do is you could say, okay, well, if 100,000 is my baseline, or, 50,000 is my baseline in impressions, that video that did well, it had this click-through rate on these different traffic sources for that. And the problem with it just being one video is there can be outliers, like the topic of the video itself. It could have nothing to do with your thumbnail and title. It could just be the topic of the video, right? So because of that, that's why one video is kind of iffy to do this on. But over time, when you start having multiple videos that perform well, and it's like, okay, this one did really well, this one did really well, this one did really well, then you can go in and you can start looking at those things, and you can start saying, okay, when I make videos on these types of things, then the videos typically will hit at least, this once they hit this many impressions. And if it doesn't hit this, that's when I go in and I start changing things up. That's what I do. So basically, once I hit 100,000 impressions, then that's where I make the call. And I'm like, okay, at 100,000 impressions, if if it's not hitting a certain number at that point, then I'll go in and I'll make the change on my click or on my thumbnail and title. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Because keep in mind, when you make those changes, sometimes you're making a change to where maybe the video, if it does get in front of a slightly different audience, it might end up doing okay. But when you go and you start making those changes, you can help or hurt the video. So that title change that you make that you think is better, it might actually end up hurting the video as well. So if you do go and start changing things, you want to make sure that you're on top of it and that you're paying attention to what happens. But on your channel, what you want to do is you want to just look for those baselines over time. As you have videos that do well, then you can start kind of building a loose picture, very loose picture of like, okay, this is what good looks like on my channel. So then I can start using that as the thing that I'm kind of putting everything else up against, to where if it doesn't have those thresholds, then I start considering things. Okay, well, is this just a lower, technically you should be doing this before you even publish a video, but is this a lower interest topic, and is that the problem? Or do I think that it's actually the thumbnail and or title? And if I think it's the thumbnail and or title, let me sit there and really think this through before I make a change and confirm that I really think it's the thumbnail, or I really think it's the title, or I think it's a combination of the both. And then really think through the change that you're going to make as well before you make the change, to make sure that you're, giving it the best possible shot. But, again, sometimes your thumbnail might be perfect, your title might be perfect, everything might be great, but it could just be the topic of the video, right? To where the topic just doesn't land, or the timing of the video too, either one of those. So next up on our list here, we got Friendly Filmmaker. Friendly Filmmaker uploads 1 time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for less than a year. They do a filmmaking edutainment channel. The goal of the channel is to educate and entertain specifically fellow indie filmmakers just starting out. And the question is, I have a very limited time, maybe 10 hours per week max for my channel. I know what I should do to succeed, but which tasks should I prioritize? In other words, where should I focus the most hours so my time still moves the needle forward? So I have a video that I just put out. This is like maybe 3 or 4 videos back, talking about how to build a schedule around your YouTube channel, so that you can, consistently put out, content on your channel. If that's something you're going to do, it basically works you in 2-week cycles. So make sure you check out that video. But in terms of the things that you should prioritize, it's really going to come down to making sure that the topics are solid, and then making sure that that people respond well to the content. So with every video that you publish, you want to go in, you want to look and see how people responded in the audience retention reports. You want to choose the drop down to compare it to other videos to see how they responded compared to other videos of the similar length as well. You also want to look at your click-through rate on all the different traffic sources. You want to look at your average view duration, all the different traffic sources. And you want to try to get that understanding of how people are responding to your content, because nothing is going to move the needle on your YouTube channel. And this is important for everybody. So if you're doing something right now, just stop and listen to this real quick. Nothing is going to move the needle on your YouTube channel more than learning how to make good content for the people that you're trying to reach with your videos. Like nothing that you do will make a bigger impact than learning how to make that content. I mean, technically, learning who your audience is, that can also be a game changer for your channel. But learning who your audience really is, and learning how to make content that serves them, those 2 things will move the needle for you more than anything else that you can do on YouTube. Let's see here. Next up on our list, got Blue Eyed Tech. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. The type of channel is Tech Reviews News. Goal of the channel is to grow my subscribers while providing useful information in the tech community. Question. Hey, Nick and D. I hope all is well. I've been considering changing my channel name to my actual name and wanted to know if it could help or hurt my channel. Not to mention it, is it safe to put my name out there? Thank you both for all your help. So the name of your channel isn't going to make a difference. So it's not going to make a difference either way. But in terms of like how you're being perceived, right? However, when you do change it to your name, or if you change it to your name, you kind of lock yourself into it, right? So a really good example of this, because you're watching my videos, so I'm assuming you're watching other people in the space too. So if you look at my channel, because it's based on my name, I'm the one making content. People expect me to be the one making content. And if I was going to hire people to also join me on this adventure and start making content on my channel as well, I would actually rebrand the channel so it's not my name. And the reason for that is because if it's around my name, then a new person, when they clicked into a video, they might think that that other presenter is me, right? So if you look at other channels, like look at Primal Video, for example, with them, because the whole channel is Primal Video, it's a brand channel, okay? So since it's a brand channel, they can hire people to come in and make videos if they want to. They can have, just random people. Every video could be somebody different, but it's still Primal Video, and they all represent the brand Primal Video. If you look at Think Media, it's the same exact thing, to where with them, they have the whole crew over there making videos under the umbrella of Think Media. So within that, you have tons of room for expansion. Technically, the way that those channels are built, because they're all brand brand name channels now. Technically, they could even sell those channels a lot easier. So the businesses that they build around those channels, if they sold those businesses, those channels are an asset, and because of that, because they're an asset, it would make that entire sale go by smoother, and it makes everything more valuable.
Whoa, and he's off again. You going to be able to get through the stream today?
Yeah, we're making it through. We're already almost an hour in.
We are. We are making it about an hour in. Wow. Ready? All right, let's go.
So yeah, so when it comes to your name, it just kind of locks it into you. And you can rebrand in the future. It doesn't matter. But if you start it with a brand, or you just keep going with the brand, then in that particular case, the advantage is that all of the content is around that brand, right? Now, the good side of having it around you is if you're trying to build up your personal brand and you're trying to let people know who you are, that's where having it around you is the win. Because then in that case, you know, everything about your channel is related directly to you in some way. So people can be like, oh, hey, have you checked out such and such's channel? Also, if you start meeting people around your content, you start going to events and things like that. Instead of being, hey, it is this person. Oh, hey, it's, you know, Justin from Primal Video. Instead of that, it's like, oh, hey, it's Justin, right? Oh, hey, Justin, what's going on? So it's just a more personal connection,
Yeah,
in that situation.
How much it sucks when somebody goes, oh, hey, you're Nick Nimmin's brother. Oh, hey, look, it's Nick. I've met people who have tried here in Thailand who have like stopped me and said, hey, you're Nick Nimmin's brother.
Yeah. You're like, I have a name. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, hi, I'm Dee. Nice to meet you. Hey, where's Nick? Nice to meet you. How you doing? Yeah. Oh, hey, you're. I no lie. I've passed people before, like at the mall. I've passed foreigners and I've heard people go, "That's Nick Nimmin's brother."
That's funny.
They don't. Nobody says, "Oh, that's Dee Nimmin."
Dee.
They go, "That's Nick Nimmin's brother."
That's funny.
Yeah, that's not funny.
It is funny.
I mean, it's funny to you, but
Yeah,
that's
it is
like,
funny to me. Yeah.
It's a little soul crushing to me.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
But that must have been what it's like growing up in my shadow.
Yeah, it was.
As a-
It was pretty much the same. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess it just came back around.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there he goes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I peaked in high school, and then as an adult, it just flipped around.
Yeah.
And now it's now I'm his brother.
That's right. You get the next cycle.
That's right.
So next up, we've got Blue Eyed. Oh yeah, we got Blue Eyed Tech already. So yeah, so there's some insights for you on the name thing. Also, once you start putting yourself out there with your name, like you also do put yourself, at some type of risk, because then you have like your personal stuff and all of that as well. So there's those types of things too. So next up,
That's funny though when that happens.
we've got
That's funny. So at Bid Summit, VidCon, all this stuff. Yeah. Half of the time it's like, oh, hey, Dee, how you doing? Half the time it's, oh, you're Nick's brother. Yeah. I point to my badge.
see the name.
Yeah. That's what I should put on my badge.
Yep.
Nick's brother.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
really
I have
funny.
a shirt, and I haven't worn the shirt in a long time. It's lost in the mess over here from the world shutting down. I have a shirt that says, I'm not Nick Nimmin. And I wore it to events because people would come up to me and ask me if I was Nick.
And they would still call you Nick, even though you had the shirt on.
Yeah, I'm not Nick. Yeah. So I have the shirt.
Dale Roberts.
Dale Roberts has the shirt, and Dr. Stin has the shirt.
Yep.
3 people have that shirt.
Home Rapid Repair is our next question. They upload 1 time per week or more. They do home improvement content. The goal of the channel is to become a trusted source of home improvement advice. The question is, I now see my videos go one of 2 paths: a quick pop in views, but then quickly flatline, or the slow burners that gain momentum nicely, but after months. What type of video is better for me? Whichever one has the best end result that will help you achieve whatever goals it is that you have for your channel, which is becoming a trusted source of home improvement advice. So it doesn't matter if a video pops. I mean, it feels great when a video pops right out of the gate, but at the end of the day,
it really
oh
does.
man, it's great. Yeah. It's like, oh, I nailed it.
Isn't that weird?
It is.
Like,
it is.
even if
you go to bed feeling, you're like, oh yeah, I nailed that one.
Right? Even if you upload videos knowing, okay, I'm going to plant the seed. I know in a couple weeks or maybe in a month, I know the views are going to come in.
Right.
I know it's going to be there. It feels different than when you upload it and you're just like, oh my God, 1,000 views in the first hour.
Right.
Right. Or whatever that metric is to you. You're like, oh my God, where that video is, you just knocked it out of the park. Right. And then what do? You're refreshing, right? You're pulling. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm going to check.
Here comes. Oh, there's more. There's more.
I'm going to check back in 20 minutes. I'm going to check back in 25 minutes. I'm going to check back in 30 minutes. You wake up the next day.
It's flatline. Your whole day's ruined.
Yes, you wake up the next day and you're like, "Why YouTube?
Yeah.
Why am I shadow banned YouTube?"
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Why is YouTube
that's the importance of not getting emotionally attached to what it is that you publish.
No,
like
they don't shadow ban.
Like in terms of like the type of video that's better. Like at the end of the day, if the videos that are slow burns, if those end up getting the most interaction, then those are the best ones. Because what you want as a content creator, you want to be able to publish videos and have those videos live on the platform for a very long time. Yeah. The worst thing that can happen, in my opinion, is that you publish a video, you get a bunch of views right out of the gate, and then it just stops. Yeah. Right? Because they hit those groups to where they're just like, yep, that video is not for me, and they just stop responding to it. Yeah, that in my opinion, like that's a harder hit. And the reason for that is because it's like, well, that video might be done. Maybe it'll get another lift, sometime in the future, but maybe it did kind of run out of juice. So because of that, yeah, those slow burns, as long as they, keep bringing them in my opinion, it's better to have, a video that brings in, 10 viewers a day than a video that just, stops. Even if it's an old video, hey, I published this, 8 years ago, but it's still bringing in 10 viewers a day. It's 10 viewers that you might not have had the opportunity to connect with otherwise if it wasn't for that video. So I think the long-term videos are always the win.
Yeah, and sometimes you put the videos out there and it takes a really long time.
Right.
A really long time.
Yeah, if you make like next level content and you can get like tons and tons of views right after you publish, that's awesome too. But even with those, you still want to make it, to where you still want the content to be good enough to where people will continue to enjoy it for years to come.
Happy birthday, Tim. Turned 27 years old today.
Hey, welcome to 27, man. It's awesome.
Wow.
So
that's wild. What were you doing at 27?
Man, I don't even know.
27?
Yeah, I don't know. So, Becco Tech TV, what were you doing at 27?
I was probably...
Debauchery of some kind?
Yeah, I was probably in Colombia.
Okay.
Colombia or Brazil.
Right.
Possibly Venezuela.
Right, yeah. So definitely debauchery of some
Something
kind.
going on down there. Yeah.
So, Becco Tech
27,
TV.
wow.
Uploads one time per week or more. The type of channel says not sure, but it's a tech channel. Goal of the channel is to get monetized, and the question is, I've been trying to find a niche to stick to, but not finding any. My channel is a tech channel, but when I make videos on YouTube education, those videos get insanely high views. What to do? Figure out what you want to do, right? Like when it comes to your YouTube channel, over time, your channels are your videos. You are going to become known for something, and that is, if your channel, becomes, successful. So because of that, if you want to be a tech channel, then by all means, be a tech channel. And also, just as in terms of like the videos being like, wildly successful in comparison, like I see here, you've got, like the best video here is like 500 views on it. So you have plenty of room to grow, right? So you can literally go in any direction that you want right now and you'll be fine. So because of that, if I would decide and get really clear on exactly what it is that you are wanting to do and start walking in that direction.
Demon Dro dropped a super chat. How you doing, man?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks like that person's actually just stealing content and re-uploading it.
Oh.
What it looks like anyway. Yeah, it looks like they're downloading vidIQ videos and re-uploading them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy that while it lasts.
Yeah, so that's going to be a really short-lived thing. By the way, if that's what I'm seeing in the autoplay on all the videos that I hovered over. So just be aware that that's going to come to a halt at some point.
Yeah.
So Demon Dro says, how did the shorts live go? Is it worth it? Nimmin Brothers video games need to be on the market. But up the Mario Brothers. Oh, nice. Yeah. So the vertical shorts is fun. Like, when I multicast with it and I have this stream and then I have the vertical, I don't enjoy it as much because then I'm like having to think of the two different things and I have to keep telling the vertical people like, hey, come over to the mainstream and stuff like that. So when I went live the other day, when Popcorn had the Scorpion incident, the thing that I enjoyed about that as it was starting was like, hey, this is just going to be something like we're just going live in the vertical feed. We can fully focus just there. So if somebody has a question about tech, I can pick up the phone and walk over and show them the thing or like whatever. So like the expectation for that, was much better. When I did the vertical stream over on my extras channel, that was also really cool because Jerry came in and he was like, Jerry Papandrea.
The race car driver?
And he was like, no, Jerry Papandrea.
Oh.
And And he was like, "Hey," and I got the reference, by the way, Primus. Yeah.
Okay.
But
you didn't have to say it. I was just curious.
But he came in and he was like, I mentioned something about like thumbnails or whatever, and he said something about like showing something whatever, and I was like, hey, let me just show how I do this right here while we're on the stream, and then I was able to just pull it up and show him. So like when it comes to those streams, they're just more relaxed. In your particular case, I would try it. I would try it and see, how people respond to it. Like one thing that was also really different for me is these live streams, I usually get about a 20 to 30 minute average view duration, depending on the stream. With those, my view duration was like exceptionally low when I was multi-streaming with both. With the vertical only, I didn't really get a good gauge on that one just because we had the incident and I had to shut the stream down early. But I'll be doing another one here this coming week, most likely. So I'll have more information then.
Yeah, it seems because I go into shorts lives now. I just be laying there and this person's live and I'll jump in. I just don't feel the need to commit to a live stream when it's that way. I'm just so used to just swiping. Yeah. And I think that's a carryover.
I think there'll be
TikTok.
A training thing that happens though. Yeah, I think as viewers get more used to it. I've even seen people on Reddit like what are lives doing in my shorts, right? Because people are like, whoa, I'm like, like what's going on? So, but just like TikTok, right? It's the same.
What I found with TikTok is live. I mean, like the live would have to be really interesting to hold my attention over there. And there were some really interesting live streams over there. But just like the standard run-of-the-mill live stream to swipe, I think it's faster than ever or easier than ever to just swipe to the next thing. Right. But if something was swiping, something just caught my eye. Could just be the framing, or it could be the color, it could just be the sound. Something the sound of the microphone. Some people have amazing voices. Right. Or in TikTok, I used to love finding people who were just like playing the piano or playing guitar live. Oh yeah. And you just swipe and immediately you're like, no. Oh,
you're like, oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. Just swipe and you're like, oh yeah, I'm in. I'm all in. Yeah.
Next up, we got Fat Ride. In the house, they do fat biking and biking content. The goal of the channel is they're not really sure. The question is, I'm seeing more views and getting subscribers, and I look at analytics, I'm still having issues with poor mid retention. Keep working on it, right? This is part of the process. So keep in mind, your videos don't have to have 100% retention on them, but the closer you get to that, as long as the topic is good and as long as people are clicking on it, the closer you get to that 100%, the better they're going to do, because that's a reflection of how much people are enjoying the content. YouTube's goal is to serve content to people that they're most likely to enjoy at any given time. So if you can help facilitate that, you're going to get rewarded for it. So keep paying attention to how people are responding. Look for places you can improve, and over time, you'll improve to the point to where you're like, okay, my videos are competitive now, and from here I can keep working on that, or I can be like, okay, this is my spot that I'm going to operate in. Ty's Hot Mess History, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Welcome to the stream.
86 says, can use StreamYard to short live?
Oh yeah,
through the vertical. StreamYard has the vertical option.
They call it portrait mode in StreamYard. But absolutely, you can add graphics, you can play videos, you can do all the stuff that you can do with the regular setup. You can do it all there. The only issue is that right now, if you screen share vertically, the preview is really small. So the request that I sent to him is to make it an even preview. So if you share the screen, that you have the screen on the bottom, and then you have you on the top, and everything is even. But currently, it just lowers your or it shrinks your portrait mode, and because of that, if you are sharing your screen, it makes it a little bit awkward there. But as long as you're not sharing your screen or whatever, then you can go in just like normal.
So for those of you who have just come in, if you do have questions, there is a form down in the description. Please put your question in the form. We are getting to these first come, first serve. Yep. If Nick does have another coughing fit, I will be answering some questions out of the chat. Otherwise, we're sticking to the form. Yep. If you do want to ask your question with the super chat, that will put you to the front of the line. Yep.
Next up, we got Dream Builder 21. They upload when they have time. It's an automotive channel. The goal of the channel is to entertain people with my projects. And the question is, when you stop uploading as much, does it affect the growth of your channel? Yeah, it can. So if you have search-based content, then in that particular case, you can usually keep, trucking pretty good. But if you do not, then in that particular case, it can take a hit. Even with search results, you can take a hit. Sure. I've actually got a screenshot. I think it is it's either in the StreamYard branding or the TubeBuddy branding here. Hold on. Yeah, so
most of my traffic was search traffic, and mine definitely took a hit.
Hold on. Yeah, so like right here, for example. So the thing that they say here, and this is from the Google Help pages of YouTube, and they say here, why is my channel getting less traffic from home or suggested? And one of the things that they mention here is uploading less frequently than usual. So in this particular case, it's home and suggested related. But part of that also is, keep in mind, like if you are uploading less, then in that particular case, you're also you don't have that new fresh content going out that does get shown to more people at that particular time, so that they can figure out who a right fit is for the videos. So because of that, when you're not uploading as much, you also limit that new content, going out and being tested.
Yeah, I mean, you also reduce the possibility of someone's even watching your videos in the first place.
Right.
And YouTube is looking at users' watch history. What channels are they watching? Have they watched your videos lately? And you give
yourself the opportunity to lose people. So when you publish a video and you publish videos on a really consistent basis, you're rock solid consistent with your content. One thing that's really cool about that is that one, you stay fresh in people's viewer history, but also people can learn to depend on you for content over time. So
like Doug.
Yeah, right.
Like Doug.
Yeah. So it can be like, hey, if I'm, if I'm like, like in my case, if I was more consistent on my channel, like right now, that, in almost every Saturday, unless, one of us is ill or something like that, that we're going to
like sick, ill, or just like ill.
Well, ill. Yeah. Yeah. If we're ill, they're still going to be there. But if we're ill, yeah. But like, that if we're, that as long as we can, that we'll be streaming on a Saturday. So because of that, some people, they'll be like, hey, it's Saturday, so I know where to go hang out. Same exact thing happens with video content as well. Like when you're rock solid consistent, then people are like, oh yeah, it's a Tuesday, such and such should have a video. So I'm going to go see what I can learn. I'm going to go, see what they did or follow their trip or whatever the thing is, because they're posting that update. So it just creates that experience for people to where they know that they can come back. Now, if that happens at scale or not, it's going to depend on your content and how, how much people get into it. But people can, definitely start to count on that over time. And then with every person that comes in and responds well, that's also new people. Also, the YouTube system is like, hey, these people are enjoying it. What are they watching? What are they looking for? What are they choosing to watch or not watch? What are they liking or not liking? And that also kind of opens you up there to also be recommended to more people as well.
So here's a question for people in the chat, because I see T's Hot Mess says you are ill. Sorry, Ty's Hot Mess, you are ill. That's why I'm here. Yeah. I see Monique say this is my Saturday hangout. I'm curious, let us know in the chat if this is something that, is this part of your regular Saturday? Do you like, hey, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to start my day, I'm going to put on the live stream because that he's going to be live. I'm curious how many people have kind of, I mean, obviously you don't work it into your day, but he's going to be live. So yeah, maybe I'm drinking my coffee, doing whatever. Watching this guy.
Yep. Yeah, and also, Renee,
watching this guy and Nick's brother.
Renee mentions here also, he says, you can post less often and be successful, like Now Red and Mark Rober, upload only a dozen times a year. But if you're putting less shots up on the board, they probably have to be really amazing shots. Yeah. And that's the big difference, like as new content creators, even as experienced content creators, like it's hard to make really good content. Yeah. So, like if you are somebody that can knock it out of the park with everything that you publish, then in that case, you do have a lot more, flexibility. But if you're, a mortal, then in that case, just finding a schedule that you can stick to, or at least loosely stick to, is definitely what you want to do. But the closer that you can get to being consistent in terms of rock solid, rigid consistency, the easier everything becomes, because then at that point, everything that's happening, and like, okay, I got this videos going out here. It just makes everything a lot more easier to organize and keep track of, because you build that entire process into your lifestyle. So it just makes everything a lot more, consistent and just easier.
English Fun Zone says, yes, I even have an alarm set.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just gives you,
incredible.
like Renee said, it gives you more shots. So, if you publish, 12 videos a year, you have 12 chances of, those videos being okay. And if you miss a couple, then in that case, it's like, oh no. Plus that gives you only 12 chances to learn. So, the best thing that we can do is when we publish, a lot of content on our channels, is we get to see how people are responding to each one of those, pieces of content that we publish. And that helps us make better decisions when we're making videos. That also helps us, better understand what the people that are interacting with our content are into and things like that. So, when you're publishing more, you get more, information, and it just kind of helps you stay in tune with everything.
Well, we have a lot of people in the chat who work this into their Saturday.
Nice. That's awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Glad that you're enjoying it. And yeah, glad that you enjoy it and that you, add us to your schedule. We appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
It's pretty cool knowing that people like on the other side of the world are like, yeah, I'm going to get up and like water the plants.
Go watch D Torment Nick during the live stream. Go watch Nick's brother torment him during the live streams.
Yeah. Go watch Nick's brother torment him. That's exactly it. You nailed it.
Jonathan Sturgill, guitar and gear reviews, uploads 1 time per week or more. They've been making videos for a year or more. The type of channel is guitar and gear reviews. The goal of the channel is bringing information to musicians, product reviews, and to learn. The question is, hey, is my computer plugged in? Because it's saying here that I'm at low battery.
Yeah, but I'll go double check everything.
Okay. But the goal of the channel is bringing information to musicians, product reviews, and to learn. And the question is, why does a 2024 video take off great, then just totally stop getting views? Okay, so when you publish videos to YouTube, basically how the whole thing works is the first people that are interacting with that content, yeah, it's still the same. Oh, you know what? There it is. Yep, got it. Yeah, this thing was flipped over on my end. Yep, we're good. Yep, solid. So, yeah, I'm not sure what that was. But basically, yeah, how the whole thing works is like this.
How do you mess up a MagSafe?
I don't know.
Seriously.
I don't know.
Like you just stick, like all you do is
it's
just
a magnet. You just get it close and it does the rest.
And it goes and it sticks to it.
Yeah, don't know. So basically, when you publish a video to YouTube, the people that first see it are the people that the system thinks are most likely to enjoy that content at that moment in time, based on the information that the system has gained about that content, based on the metadata that you've put in terms of your title, your description, and what it's seeing in the content and kind of hearing in the content also. And then from there, based on how those people respond to it, it'll go out to a larger group of people, and it'll just keep going out until it hits a threshold of people that just aren't really responding to it. And then as soon as it hits that threshold of people that aren't responding to it, then in that particular case, if your video is being competitive, right, to here, and then all of a sudden it's not competitive, it's not as competitive against the other content that YouTube has the option to show to that same group of people, then in that case, what's going to happen is the content that performs even better is going to end up, getting shown to that group over yours. So what happens is when you're publishing videos, your videos will keep going as long as, those groups keep, enjoying them. Now, with that said, keep in mind that even when your videos kind of peter out, right? Because that, happens sometimes. So even when your videos peter out, it doesn't mean they're going to stay that way. It just means that those groups that are currently being tested on it, those groups of people just, stopped responding to it at a competitive rate. But what can happen is because YouTube will continue to give videos, impressions over time. It might not be a lot, but they'll continue to do that. If they get it into a group of people that start responding to it again, then you can have those videos, start doing well also again. Now, other things can happen also to where, maybe the thing that you talked about, maybe the general interest of that kind of fades away because it was about a hot topic at the time, but now that topic is over and it's kind of old news, or there's a lot more content about it now. We're actually talking about a friend that is making content right now. His channel's just on fire. Yeah. He got, I think, 20,000 subscribers yesterday on his channel. But one of the things that he's doing, which is really smart, is he's riding a trend right now. So I can't remember the person because it's all political stuff and I don't keep up with that. But basically, what he's doing is he's riding. There's a trial that's going on, and this person, they're famous, but they're not like everybody knows them famous. And he's making content about them as they're getting, as they're getting talked about a lot in the news. So as they're getting talked about a lot in the news, he has this content going out about these, people, and there's people making content about it, but there's not just huge competition, for that particular person, right? So because of that, he's publishing videos, live stream and stuff. He had like 19,000 people in his live stream yesterday. That's crazy. It is. But
can you imagine what this stream would be like with 19,000 people?
Yeah.
The moderators would be having nervous breakdowns.
Yeah. Doug would be like, you know what? I mod like a machine, but I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out of here.
Yep. Super mod would be like, peace out.
All right.
I'm going to go.
Chantel's like, hey, peace.
Yeah.
Yep. Peace. Yeah. Get out of here. But basically the thing that he's doing right now is he's tapping into the trend, but also a trend about somebody that isn't as popular as a lot of the other people. But as the awareness is going out about that person, then more people are like, oh, this person, and they're starting to watch content about it. And because of that, their system is like, hey, this is what we got on this person. If you're looking for information on this person, so here it is. And and he's able to take advantage of that. So when it comes to those types of things, then you can hop on those. But what he'll eventually run into is if he doesn't completely dominate that in terms of people are responding to his content way better than everybody else or just more than everybody else, if he has people that come in and start talking about that same exact thing and they start getting a better response, and then a bunch of people start making a content about it and they start getting a better response, then what will happen is his results will start going down, when he publishes content around that person again. And as that person slowly fades from the general consciousness of, the people in the states that are caught up in all that stuff, then in that particular case, his stuff will go down unless he pivots into talking about somebody else. It's kind of like in a similar, situation. So when it comes to the video stopping to get views, the whole idea that I'm trying to express is that, when you're putting content out there and it hits those thresholds of, groups of people that just aren't responding to it at a competitive rate, then, it ends up slowing things down. But when you do hop on stuff to where there's not as much competition to compete against, you still have all the other things that they're interested in. But if they're, really interested in that, then in that particular case, it also, on the other side of it, it gives you a huge opportunity as well. That's what I'm getting to. Took me a really long way to say that, but got it out.
Do you see this? What is that?
Is that tape?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Did you put that on there?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
I think they sold me a used XLR cable.
Interesting. You just noticed that?
Yeah.
The whole time that's been on there?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this was replaced about a year ago.
Oh, okay.
I think they sold me a used cable.
Interesting. Possible. Definitely possible.
Yeah. Unless you were in here working on it.
I was not. 86 is our next question. They have a help channel. The goal of the channel is soft skills for cooks and chefs. The question is, this is actually advice. The best advice that Nick ever gave out was to treat your channel as if it was already monetized, even if you only have 10 subscribers, including setting up a spread shop. You never know which of your old videos will take off years later after you're monetized. And if you have a copyright claim on it, it doesn't qualify. You'll miss out on that revenue. Yeah, not just acting like you're monetized already, but also if you start treating your YouTube channel like you already have the success that you're after on the channel, then in that particular case, it does something weird to your brain to where you'll also start treating your actions around your YouTube channel differently. Like, as a new content creator, you may or may not be aware of the gigantic opportunity that's sitting in front of you as a YouTube content creator. And if you embrace that and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm doing all the things. I'm in the process of becoming a successful content creator. So therefore, I'm going to start handling everything like I'm already a successful content creator. That means putting in the work that I need to come up with good video ideas, putting in the work I need to make good content, putting in the work and setting aside the time that I need to in order to go into my analytics and figure out what people are enjoying, and putting in the time that I need to better understand my audience and things like that. Then what happens is it starts, causing you to act differently. And when you do that, then it causes you to start doing the things that those of us that do this for a living, that we do. And when you start doing that and you start taking it that seriously and you start, believing in like, yeah, you know what, I can do this. I can turn this into something amazing. Then in that particular case, it just causes you to modify the approach a little bit. So yeah, absolutely. Next up, we got Tourist Guide Travel. Tourist Guide Travel has been on YouTube for less than 6 months. The type of channel is travel guide videos. The goal of the channel is to help travelers with information about two things, about things to do when they visit a destination. The question is, I was having constant views every day and it was going up slowly with subscribers, but last week it just stopped getting any views and subs. Now it looks like a dead channel. How to revive? So same exact thing that I said to the last person. So basically, your channel's going out. People stop responding to the content. When people stop responding to the content at a rate that's competitive, then other content is going to be prioritized over your content. So the way that you revive things is to look at those videos that are there as these are videos that I already put up. These are videos that I've already, performed. They might come back to life later. Not sure. Maybe I can go in and, adjust a title or a thumbnail to make it a little bit more clear or more compelling or whatever. But with all of that, I've got, those videos are those videos. Now, what I need to do is I need to learn from those videos, and then I need to make additional videos based on the things that I learned from these videos, and then you rinse and repeat that over and over again over time. D, handle this just for just a second, if you don't mind.
Do you need to cough or you need to step away?
No, I just need to step away real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, you use the bathroom.
All right, so he's stepping away. I'm going to cover this here. I'm going
to hop into the comments.
Yep, I'm going to go into the chat here, see what I can scroll back to. Okay, Brandon's recovery. Is Daryl going live today? I don't believe Daryl is going live today, but if Doug or Chantel would like to double check, Please let me know. I don't believe that he is though. Scrolling back here to see if there's any questions that I missed earlier. So we have here, Evil Empire Gaming says, no way, used cable. Shame, whoever did this. Yeah, so there's a microphone cable here, and there's tape on it. And I just noticed this. This was replaced about a year ago, so he might be messing with me. I don't know. But he usually doesn't come in here and mess with the gear. But I just noticed this. And the only reason that would have tape on it is if I was sold a secondhand cable by accident. So, yeah, that definitely happens. Okay, so Doug says not that he's seen. Not that he's seen. Jelly Bean Art says, I got a question. Where am I going wrong?
Where's the rebel base?
Where's the rebel base? Where am I going wrong? Tomorrow will be my 1 month. My channel is up. Okay, so here's where you're going wrong.
I know what you're going to say.
You were going wrong by having the expectation of thinking that you should have some measure of success by only being on the on YouTube for a month. Mm-hmm. That's where you're going wrong. Yep. YouTube is a long game.
Yep.
I know you've heard a lot of people say it before, and it's the truth. Yes, those unicorns do exist where they upload their first couple of videos and they're off and running. That does happen, but most people are not those unicorns. Most of us mere mortals, we're in the trenches, slugging it out, one video after the next video after the next video. You are expecting as a new creator to be able to simply make something, put it online, and everybody respond to it. Okay, what you don't have right now, what you don't have yet, and I say yet because you will get them through repetition, you don't yet have the skills to know how to package your content together, to know how to keep people's interest, to know how to write the right titles, how to make the best thumbnails. And you learn this over time through trial and error and through lots and lots and lots of repetition. So you're going wrong by having expectations that are set too high. Go make 50 videos. Go make 100 videos. Come back and talk to us after a year of making content.
Yeah, another thing to remember too, like as you know, content creators, it's really easy, especially if you just come onto the platform.
Yeah.
Like if you've been watching YouTubers for any amount of time, it all looks like it's really easy to do. Like it's like, oh, hey, all these people are publishing videos and getting like, you know, hundreds of views on them or thousands of views or tens of thousands of views or millions of views on them. So I should be able to publish a video and get that many views too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you first come on, like you're competing with people that are really good at this, that have, you know, they've been doing it for a while, or they have a good understanding for it, or they just went through the processes, right? They're basically, if this is the learning curve, right? You're here and they're like, you know, here, right? And you're competing with them in the same exact capacity, even though you're just coming on and they've been on the platform for a while and they've learned how to do the thing. So even though it might look easy from the outside, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. And when you are first coming on, it's really easy. And I see this all over the internet. I see it, you know, here in our chat. I see it in Facebook groups around YouTube. I see it on subreddits around YouTube, Discords around YouTube. Content creators come on and they expect, because of the results they see other content creators having, they expect to have their videos just take off right out of the gate. But the thing that you don't see is you don't see all of the content creators, which is the majority, that are not getting those results. And the reason that you don't see them is because YouTube shows the content to people that people are enjoying at scale. So what you need to work on right now, like Dee said, just work on, you know, build up the skill sets, learning how to come up with good video ideas, learning how to, you know, figure out who your audience is that you're making content for and all that stuff. And just work on that part and just realize, like, hey, I'm new at this. So because of that, let me go through those processes so that I can, you know, just compete stronger against, you know, the people that I'm going against. And it's also important to know, because it's kind of a general theme on a lot of those YouTube communities for new content creators, where people are saying things like, you know, YouTube doesn't show videos of new channels and, you know, things like that. It's also important to know that, like Dee said, some people do come onto the platform and they start publishing videos and they already know how to make content and their channels will take off right out of the gate. But most don't go through that experience. But one thing that YouTube does do is they do show your content as a new content creator to people. And you can prove this to yourself by going in and looking at your impressions in your YouTube analytics. It's called impressions. An impression is when they show your content to somebody on the platform for more than a second. So for long form. So when you are thinking to yourself like, man, I'm publishing these videos, but I'm not getting, many views on them. Just go and look at the impressions. Those impressions are how many times YouTube has showed your content to people. And then you just haven't been able to get people to come in and enjoy the content at a rate that will cause YouTube to show it to even more, of those people.
I want to go into this a little bit deeper because she's got a new channel, and I was just looking at her channel. She's doing all right.
Okay.
You're off to a fantastic start.
Okay.
You just need a little bit of learn stuff. The first tip is get rid of those numbers at the beginning, like number 1, number 2. Get those out of your titles. They don't belong there. Okay. Now, just let me read off some titles to you, and you tell me which one you think did the best.
Okay.
And let me just tell you, Jelly Beans, success leaves clues. So look at what's actually working on your channel. So I'm going to just read a couple titles, and you tell me which one you think did the best.
Okay.
Okay. Crafting Rubylicious Resin Lips Step by Step. That's one. Okay. How to create skull heart resin art for Valentine's. That's 2. Number 3, mind-blowing psychedelic resin art.
I would say the last 2 are probably better than the first.
I know, but which one do you think did the best? Mind-blowing second. Okay, so you got those 2. Mind-blowing psychedelic resin art, or how to create skull heart resin art for Valentine's.
Because of the skull heart thing, because that is specific, and because the reason I was thinking with the how-to is that might show up in search and might drive a lot of traffic from search. So because of that, I was thinking that if people are looking for that, then that one would be the win.
They're looking for it.
But on the mind-blowing side, on the resin and things like that, that's super compelling if it shows up on like a homepage or something.
Okay, so the thumbnail's dope. Our thumbnails look pretty cool. So your thumbnails are looking pretty good.
Was it the mind-blowing one?
The difference between the views, the first video, 198 views. Second video, 250 views. Mind-blowing psychedelic resin art, 3.6 thousand views.
Okay, so it was the mind-blowing one.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm assuming those are all organic and you didn't pay for those, and those are just found to YouTube. But
that's a great start for your third video.
That's a great start. If those views are organic, means
they probably are. I mean, it's a lot of views.
Yeah. The thumbnail looks amazing. The text is easy to read. You can get rid of the little tiny tutorial number 1. Get rid of the number out of your title. But mind-blowing psychedelic resin art. That's got something to it. It makes me want to click on it. It's mind-blowing. Versus crafting Rubylicious resin lips. Right? Anyway, just wanted to dig in on that because your stuff looks really cool. And I think you're off to an amazing start.
Nice.
Your videos are well lit too.
That's good. It's encouraging.
Yep. You just got to work on your packaging.
Next up, we got English Fun Zone. English Fun Zone uploads, they've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. The type of channel is English as a second language. The goal of the channel is offer fun English videos. The question is, I did a live stream and they put 20 ads on this hour video. I'd move some around, but I don't think that will make much of a difference. Do you think it would be better to delete a few? It's your call. Like what I would do is I'd go into your audience retention and see if you have any like mass exodus. So if you, like this is what all these stats are for, right? So if you're like, okay, I believe that if I have all these ads in here, that it's going to cause a bunch of people to leave the video. Go in and write down, okay, this is where YouTube, has placed these ads, and then go in and track that against your audience retention report and see if it made a difference or not. In most cases, you're going to see it didn't make a difference at all. But if you do notice, like, oh yeah, they were leaving here, they like tons of people left here when this one showed up or whatever, start taking those out and see if it makes a difference there. But really, when it comes to those, just cross-reference it with your audience retention reports and see if it made a difference. Next up,
mind-blowing psychedelic resin art. You had me at hello.
So we got Mike Philippine retirement. Got practically a neighbor there.
Yep.
So Philippine retirement, budget, scams, and living in the Philippines is the type of content. The goal of the channel is second income, helping expats coming to the Philippines to retire. And the question is, I'm 70 next month. Hey, happy birthday to you. Congratulations on 70. My first video was in August 2022, 28,000 subscribers, crushing, by the way, nice work. YouTube recommendations, 76.2%, YouTube home, 67.7%. My question is how to increase the impressions and views and other YouTube features. So really just YouTube recommendations in general and home. It's really what you want, like anyway, is basically you want YouTube recommendations, which is like, home pages and suggested videos. Like that's really what you want. So like you're fine there. But when it comes to increasing impressions and views and other features, it's going to come down to how people are responding from those. Now, of course, like your subscription feed, the way to increase it there is by making content that's in alignment with the people that already subscribe to the channel, but most of them are still going to find it on the homepage. When it comes to YouTube search, then in that particular case, you need to have videos that are also performing well in YouTube search as well, compared to the other videos that are in those particular spots. You also need to, I mean, you don't have to optimize them for search because YouTube's system is smart enough to know that, you know, like, hey, this would be a good video for here. However, you can help it along and add that clarity by making sure that you are using keywords or keyword phrases in your titles and descriptions that will just kind of help the system better understand, you know, or have more clarity about what the video is about. So if you're trying to get more in search, then definitely make sure that you're doing that. Also, if possible, try to go for search terms, unless the videos that you're making are just incredible in terms of how people are responding to them. Make sure that you are going for, high search volume, but lower competition with your search terms as well. And then work your way through the ranks there as you start getting better responses there, then start targeting more and more difficult, search terms there. And keep in mind, when you are targeting search, your videos are also going to be recommended. So you can also double dip where you are including those keywords or keyword phrases, but you're also making the content, the packaging from the outside compelling enough that it can also grab somebody's attention when they're not actually looking for the content that you make as well from the recommendation system, which you're already getting your attention from. But when it comes to the other features, those are some things you want to think about. Some of the things you're going to see in there is like, external. So if you want to get a better response external, then, the only thing there is like reaching out to bloggers and things like that. Also, search optimization can help there because external traffic sources are also search engines. So people can also find your videos in Google and they can come into your YouTube channel that way. You also have your channel pages, which is basically your channel page. And then people can, come in, if they're already interacting with your content in some way. You can also start doing collaborations if you're trying to get more of that channel page activity also, to where we call them tab collabs. We don't really do them as much anymore. We should, but we don't.
Oh,
but yep.
All right. I took you off screen there because you look like you were going to keel over.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? If he goes down live,
yeah,
I want that for my memory.
Yeah.
I don't want everybody. I don't
want to share that one.
I don't want to share that memory.
Yeah.
I want to keep that one right here.
You just want to stand there live and just look at me on the
Like,
ground, gasping for air,
Nick,
wow, looks like you need some help over there.
You need some air?
Maybe we should call somebody. Should I call somebody? Do you want me to call somebody?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. What? You want me to call somebody? but yeah, like
it's horrible.
But when it comes to the community tab collaborations, if you do have friends in the Philippines that also make the same type of content, because the important part here is you want to make sure that the content is targeted towards the same type of viewer. But if they also make the same type of content, you can also do collaborations to where you share each other's content in each other's community feeds from time to time. If you're like, hey, this is a really good video, or this is a really important video, whatever. To where you start creating those relationships and you can start sharing each other's content from time to time and that sort of thing. You can also, increase the traffic coming from channel pages that way also.
Renee came in and added some clarity. Said, just a reminder, those slots aren't ads. They're candidates for ads. They'll be filled differently for different viewers depending on the personalization and context at the time. And you also have Super Chat.
Yeah, thanks for that. John Cupid says, how's it possible that some DJs can play full mixes without having their mixes muted, with DJs like myself will continue to get blocked? So some people will actually get the license to use the music that they're using. Some people will not. And the people that do not, they're going to have to deal with that. Sometimes people will make something and they'll play it. And in that moment, it'll be fine. But then they'll later end up having to deal with a copyright claim or a copyright strike on their channel. So there's all kinds of different variables there. But when it comes to like some people getting it, some people don't, I would just say that it's probably just the system detecting one and not the other in that moment would be the difference there. It can also be to where if it's like, hey, you've got like a vocal track that you're putting over, some other like instrumental or something like that, then in that particular case, that might confuse it enough for that moment in time to where it doesn't detect it like right there, but it might come back to get them later.
Yeah, not everybody gets a copyright claim at the same time.
Yeah.
Theirs could come much later, but there's also a thing for like international rights. So every country is going to have different rights for music. Yep. So it could just be that some of the music that you're choosing doesn't have good rights usage around the world.
Yeah.
and it might not be getting blocked everywhere. It could just be getting blocked in select countries. Sometimes people get a copyright claim and it will just say, this song is blocked from playing in these specific countries, but it's going to be, it might play. Might play elsewhere.
And some people just eat the claims. Some people don't care.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're jamming out, and you know, some places will strike the content, but like if they're like, hey, you know, like these places only will collect the ad revenue. If they're not monetized, they don't care anyway. And then in other cases, they're monetized, but they're happy to eat the ad revenue for the sake of either the exposure, or they have their own stuff that they're bringing attention to, or whatever. So you have those variables in there also. So you know, sometimes it'll be a strike, sometimes it'll just be a claim. But, you know, keep in mind that like when it comes to a claim, like those aren't really a big deal. So like if you get a claim, then in that particular case, they're just claiming the ad revenue. So you take the L on the ad revenue, but when it's a strike, they're actually putting a penalty on your channel, right? And that's a big deal. But when it comes to a claim, though, not a big deal.
They mentioned getting blocked. That's why I think it could be an issue with international rights.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're getting blocked, like if you're using that correctly, why am I getting blocked? You're choosing music that's getting blocked in certain countries. If that's truly what's happening in terms of getting blocked. You have another super chat? Bruzy?
Let's see here. Let me scroll up. Bruzy, thank you for the super chat. It says, adding new content format, same niche, but less produced and much higher volume daily uploads than what's working for us now, new channel or a playlist. As long as it's for the same type of viewer, like as long as you're, you know, reaching people in the same audience, you can put it on the same channel, as long as it aligns with what you're doing. Like let's say, for example, your entire channel, the whole thing is like, hey, we're going to create this vibe and we're going to have this aesthetic with it while we're delivering the content. It's part of our brand and all that stuff. And then this new thing that we're doing, it doesn't fit into that. Then in that particular case, you might want to put it on another channel. But if you're like, hey, it's fine, people are going to enjoy that stuff just like they enjoy this stuff, and it's for that same, you know, group of people based on like your logo and your name. You know, I'm going to guess it's people that are like, you know, drinking or something. So in that particular case, as long as it's still a good fit for those people, then you know, it's still fine to put on the same channel. And you might find, you know, sometimes the higher produced stuff, you know, will end up performing better. Sometimes the lower produced stuff will end up performing better. So you might end up walking into gold here. Maybe not, but, you know, you might end up walking into something here that might end up being very beneficial for you. iPhone Chris, thank you for the super sticker. Super appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Chris.
So next up on our list here, we've got exceptional indie games. Been on YouTube for less than a year. The type of channel is channel reviewing and showcasing indie games. The goal of the channel is helping indie games get more exposure and in the future, perhaps generating some side income. And the question is, most of my content is currently faceless and not getting real traction yet. I don't mind that because I know that it can take a long time. But do you think that adding myself on camera would improve the odds of growth in the long run? So people respond to different things. People respond to faceless content in a major way, just like they respond to content that's not personality based. So when you are putting yourself on camera, it's just a different experience, right? So in some cases, you know, that'll make a difference in terms of, you know, people getting more attached to what it is that you're doing because you get to express the nuances of your personality. You also get to like really hammer home ideas and things like that because you get to use your body language and your facial expressions and all that stuff to, you know, really just send the idea home that you're, you know, trying to express. So because of that, you know, there's definitely advantages to being on camera, but on the other side of that, there's advantages to not being on camera, and people respond to that as well. You know, as long as you're making good content that doesn't require somebody to be on camera, then, you know, people can also enjoy that. So it really comes down to what you're trying to do. What I recommend, and I recommend everybody do this anyway, if you are somebody that's hanging out here and you're wanting to take YouTube seriously, then in that particular case, I would sit back and I would think to myself, like, okay, 5 years from now, if everything went exactly how I wanted it on my YouTube channel, what would I actually want to build? Like, what am I building here? Like, what would I want my channel to be like? How would I want my audience to be interacting? What would I want my day-to-day life to look like?
What
you
kind
know,
of
as I'm
brands I want
building,
to work with? What kind of business have I built around my channel?
Right. And just kind of, you know, kind of vision board that stuff. So you can just kind of get an idea of what it is that you're trying to do, and you can kind of define the direction that you're heading. And when you do that and you make those calls and like, this is what I'm trying to do, then that will help you better answer questions like that when they pop up.
Can go in the kitchen.
Said, thanks for the super chat. Says, no question today, but I want to say thank you to both of you. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Much obliged. Thank you so much.
Paradise Biker says, haven't joined a Nimmin Live in over 2 years.
You haven't missed a thing.
Haven't missed a thing. Yep, haven't missed a thing. Yep, except for some antics from D. Yep. No, seriously though, welcome back to the stream. Hope that you are enjoying yourself. Yeah, so D, after the whole world shut down and all that stuff, so D was gone for a while. So he came back. We've been on this now, for not a year yet, I don't think. Has it been a year?
It's been about a year.
About a year now? About a year. Back. So now that D's back, maybe it's worth it, to come back from time to time. Because when I'm solo, not so much, but coming back for Nick's brother.
That's right.
That's the thing. So let's see here. We did.
So this is interesting. It's a Poodle Professor. And by the way, you should hook up with Brian D. Johnson. I'm sure you guys would have a lot to talk about.
Yep.
Poodle Professor says 5 years.
Nick, what's going on?
5 years. I'm scared that YouTube company goes away. So you're afraid of putting your eggs in the YouTube basket that YouTube will go away. Valid concern.
Totally.
You know what?
You never know.
Any of this could end tomorrow.
Yep.
But what I will say this.
We get a solar flare, it's all over.
Yeah.
Everything's over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Solar flare, it's all over.
Right.
But I will say this. Right now, today, tomorrow, and until that solar flare comes or some new law comes in to prohibit, people uploading user-based content, which I don't foresee happening. Right now, we have an opportunity as creators. Unprecedented opportunity.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, if it's not YouTube, it's going to be Facebook. It's not Facebook, it's Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is.
Yep.
Choose a
content.
Choose a platform, choose platforms and run with it.
Yep.
And if it's not something that's around today, there'll be something else. Something new is going to pop up.
Yep.
If you
get good at doing the thing, here, I'll go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you start making content, you start putting your plan together, and you learn how to do this and you do it effectively, it doesn't matter if YouTube's going to be here in 5 years or not. Doesn't matter if YouTube's going to be here in 5 years or not, because in that period of time, you've learned a lot of new skills that you'll be able to take to whatever platform does exist.
Yep.
Or if you're really smart, you had some success and you've built up a business around it, and you've been able to take that money and maybe invest that money into something else that doesn't involve social media.
Yep. And like Colin Michael just said, build that email list.
There you go.
Yep, absolutely.
There you go. Colin, how you doing, man?
Yep. Hope you're doing great, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. So like, building that, email list is a way to, stay in touch with people. But, when it comes to this whole thing, like when you learn how to make good content, then conceptually you can put that content anywhere, and you learn the basics. Like, this is what people respond to.
Yep.
So therefore, if I do it and I put it up here, I'll get a response. If I put it up here, I'll get a response. If I put it up here, I'll get a response. Some you might get a better response than others, things like that. But if you learn how to make good content, you'll be able to get a good response and you'll be fine.
Yep. Once you learn the skill,
the hard part though is learning how to make good content.
It's hard. This is not easy. It is hard, but we all have to go through this. But once you learn the skill and you understand how to make content that an audience reacts to, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. It doesn't matter what platform comes your way.
Yep.
You will be able to figure it out.
Yep.
You'll be able to. I know Nick could go make content anywhere, and if he really dedicated time and put effort into it, he'd be fine. Take him a little bit. Colin, who's in here, Colin Michael, same with him. He understands it. He understands the craft. He'll be fine wherever. YouTube could shut down tomorrow, and of course, it'd be a hiccup. Of course, it would be a hit.
It'd be an inconvenience.
It'd be of course. But you'd be able to regroup and refocus and build another brand, or build that brand someplace else.
Yep.
Without question.
Next, we got community is the name of the channel. The type of channel is pop culture and news. The goal of the channel is I cover hip hop and celebrity news to target the audience for more in-depth discussions. I want youth in urban areas to have different points of view for trending topics. Love it. The question is, so I do shorts to drive traffic to my longer videos, and it's worked really well. My question is, I only cover the topics that I can do longer videos on, so that I can explain the facts behind the story. Should I start doing shorts on hot trending topics, even if I won't do a full video over the event, kind of like just a daily breaking news or short commentary? Or should I stick to creating 3 to 4 shorts strictly for the longer videos? That has done well so far. Thanks a million. So when it comes to choices like this, of course, you got to think of the bandwidth that you have to make content. You got to think of overall what you're trying to accomplish and what you can do in order to accomplish that. So a couple things I'm going to unpack here. So the very first one is, if you do start doing content, if you start doing shorts on hot and trending topics, one big advantage that you're going to have on that, when it's standalone content made for the purpose of being in the short shelf and not made for the purpose of driving people into longer form content, then what you're doing is you're creating a piece of content that will also be qualified to be published in YouTube Shorts as just a Shorts experience, which is great. Also, that you can take that same exact content, you can publish it to all of your other vertical platforms as well. And then that gives you also standalone content that you can publish over to those. So basically by doing that and taking that approach, you're going to be able to expand the brand overall to where you're going to be, putting that extra content into YouTube to where some of the people, because you got to think at scale. So basically out of the people that are going to interact with that content on YouTube, some of those people are going to be engaged enough that they're going to click on your channel name and they're going to see more of the content that you publish and they're going to come and follow you regardless. But then when you have that content that is dedicated for the shelf though, and you can take that content, you can put it, in all the other platforms. You're also giving yourself the opportunity to take yourself from like, hey, I'm just on YouTube to also all of a sudden be on all these other platforms on a regular basis without having to do much extra because you're already making the content. It just comes down to, okay, well now I just have to load it here while I'm loading it up over here. So because of that, I would think about like, hey, am I wanting to expand my brand? Is this something that I'm wanting to do? And if so, then I would lean into that side of things. The downside is if you do get into that mode where, and again, this is where I don't know where, how much bandwidth you have to do this, but if you do get into that mode where you're like, hey, I'm publishing videos like, every day on these breaking things in pop culture, then in that particular case, that might take away from the amount of time that you have to put really good content together on the long form side. And because of that, it could end up, depending on the bandwidth that you have or the time that you have, causing you to take away the efforts that you'd be putting into the long form content and for the sake of doing the shorts content. So when it comes to shorts content, it's great for getting in front of new people. It's great for just spreading awareness about you and what it is that you offer, anything that you want to spread awareness about. Some people can also get, short form viewers over into, long form videos and all that. So there's tons of advantages there. However, the downside when it comes to shorts is that it is shorts, right? And because of that, it's really easy for people to swipe away. It's really easy for people to not get like super involved at scale, not get super involved in what it is that you're doing and all of that. In a lot of cases, you might interact with, 50 shorts in a session and you don't remember the name of anybody that you interacted with, right? Because you're sitting there flipping like, nope. And you don't remember the name of anybody that you've interacted with. So in my opinion, even though there's tons of value there and it's a great way to connect with people, like, view for view, they're just not as, there's just not as much value there, right? But you can still get brand deals, you can still get money, you can still do all of those things. But in terms of, the short viewer, I just don't see the short viewer as a view for view match for long form content. However, that's where a lot of attention is, right? Like YouTube's getting, 70 billion short views a day, D?
They're getting a lot.
Yeah, so it's like 70 billion short views a day. So if you can tap into that, it's a lot of extra attention that you can get especially if you're on the grind, you're talking about pop culture stuff. Are you kidding me? Like that's a great chance to just blow up in YouTube Shorts. So if your thing is like, hey, I'm just trying to have a big channel and just trying to do this thing, and I don't care if it comes from shorts or long form or whatever, then in that case, doing that as part of your strategy is, I think, extremely advantageous because then you can also put that content elsewhere. You're plugging the system daily with content that is on things that people are already, interested in. And everything about that is good. With the exception of, is that going to eat into, one, what your goals are for the long form content and the reason that you're doing YouTube in the first place? And two, just the efforts that you're going to be putting into the long form content. Because one thing that can happen is that when you start doing that short form, because it starts getting that activity and it can be kind of mesmerizing to where it's like, oh, wow, I've got all these views coming in, from shorts. So because of that, I'm just not even going to publish long form content anymore. Yep. And then that makes everything kind of temporary at that case, because then, and even with a good short strategy, like over time, that will just end up like fading out. So, so because of that, just and I don't mean fading out in terms of popularity of shorts. I mean, fading out in terms of like, okay, unless I stay on this hamster wheel, then, this content probably isn't going to be competitive if you're talking about news, because it has a limited limited lifespan because it's news, right? So yeah, so a lot of different thoughts for that one, but I would think about what you're trying to accomplish and what vehicles or what formats to use that will help you accomplish that in the best possible way.
So we talked about, or somebody mentioned, I think it was Renee, mentioned Mark Rober a little bit earlier. He just uploaded a new video 56 minutes ago. How many views do you think he's been able to get in the last 56 minutes?
I don't know. Probably at least 6 figures.
237,000 views.
Nice. Oh.
In an hour.
Oh.
That is mind-boggling.
That's great.
That
absolutely
is
fantastic.
Absolutely mind-boggling.
That's great.
And here's, wow, I just refreshed 2,430.
Yeah. Crushing.
Wow, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's insane. Then here's a mistake, just while we're talking about a really large channel here. If you're just getting started, one of the biggest disservices you can do to yourself is try to compare yourself to the larger channels and say, okay, wow, these really big channels are getting these
Pay
huge
attention
views.
to what they're doing, though, because you know, they know what they're doing.
Right,
yeah.
pay attention to what they're doing. No, you're right. Pay attention to what you're doing. You know, look at how they're doing everything. Look how they're packaging everything. But don't look at their success as a measuring stick of what you should be. Oh, they're getting thousands of views by the hour. Why am I not getting those views?
Unless you're trying to be the best.
Right, but you've got to learn how to be the best.
Right.
You got to learn how to do that first. If you're coming into this with no skills and you're comparing yourself to the biggest and best channels on
Chantel
YouTube.
says it perfectly. She says, don't compare your start to someone else's middle or their end.
I love it.
Yep, it's great.
I love it. There you go. Summed it up great, Chantel.
Yep. So next up, we got Voxatelier. Voxatelier.
And it's
they
easy to do that.
Sewing and crafting. It
I
is.
know you've told me before, you look at my videos and you're just like, dude, like I don't measure up.
Right.
I'm like, you don't.
Yeah. I'm like, man, just how you started that video, I could
I
never
know.
do that.
I know that hook was
Yeah.
solid, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, he calls me sometimes and he's just like, dude, that hook, like best I've ever seen.
Yep.
I'm like, I know. That's why I'm known
And
as
then he
your,
wakes up and it's like a totally,
that's
you know,
why I'm known as your brother.
Right. Love it. So the channel here is Voxatelier. Sewing and crafting, the goal is to get monetized. The question is, how can I see where I'm losing subs without opening one video at a time to check the analytics? What you do is you go into your analytics at the channel level. So you get to that by just opening up your Creator Studio and then hitting the analytics button over on the left-hand side. From there, click into advanced mode once you're in analytics. Advanced mode, you're going to see that text up at the very top right-hand side of the screen. Once you click into advanced mode, then you're going to see a table down in the bottom, or a chart down, or a table down in the bottom that's going to have a bunch of information down there. You want to look for the one that says subscribers. Click on that one, and it's going to show you the that's going to show you the videos that have brought subscribers. So what you want to do, don't click on that, sorry. What you want to do is you're going to see a plus icon that's sitting inside of a circle. It's going to be a blue circle. Click on that, and then that's going to have a bunch of different things that you can add to that table. So in there, you want to look for subscribers lost. And then once you add that to that table, then you can sort by that, or as soon as you add it, it's going to automatically sort it. And then you'll see the videos that are bleeding subscribers. And then from there, you can make sure the date range is also adjusted to wherever it is that you're trying to figure out. And then you'll be able to see which videos were losing subscribers.
254,000 views.
Nice. So next up, we got Alexis Hope Vlogs. They upload one time per week or more. They do lifestyle content. The goal of the channel is to do what I love while making money. Question: my most popular video has nothing to do with what my channel is about. I make vlogs. Those videos are about weight loss and tech. I did those before I knew what I love to do. Now that I've made those videos unlisted, I get no views. I have over 100 videos and I get maybe 1 view an hour. How can I teach the algorithm to show my other videos? So you can't teach the algorithm to show your other videos, but what you can do is focus really hard on making those videos as good as you possibly can, because that's going to be the thing that makes the difference. This isn't what you want to hear, but your channel has grown based on a video that you don't make anymore, which means that the people that are most likely to get recommended that content when you first publish it for the new content that isn't in alignment with those people's interests, that content is most likely to get shown to some of those people when it first gets published, and they are probably not responding well to it, which then, causes, things not to go very far. So keep in mind that with your vlog content, that goes by the same rules as every other piece of content on YouTube, where it has to perform at a certain, competitive rate in order for it to get shown to more people. So it could be that your vlogs are just not getting the same response as the other content. And if that is the case, then that would mean that you need to, go through the process of going into your analytics, looking at your audience retention reports, seeing, okay, when people first enter my vlog, are they leaving pretty quick, or are they, not sticking around? And because of that, YouTube isn't recommending my content. Looking at your click-through rate compared to your impressions and saying, okay, YouTube is showing my content to people, but is anybody actually clicking on the content? And if the answer there is like, no, they've given my, my video 100 impressions and nobody clicked on it, then that means that YouTube is trying, YouTube is showing it to people, but you just haven't, been able to get people to click because of the topics of the videos or how you're packaging them up or whatever. I'm actually going to look at your channel here really quick too. I just want to see what it is that you're doing before I say this next thing.
Checking them out.
Yeah. Yeah. So another thing too is like, with doing your vlog content, like one thing you got to think about is like here you have living alone diaries, and then you have like sad story time plus Walmart surprised me plus getting my life together. So really you've got like 3 titles just in one video. So what you want to do is when you are...
All of that was one video?
Yeah. And then the other one is like Living Alone Diaries, is cybersecurity worth it, plus breakfast date, plus grocery shopping.
Holy moly.
So what you want to do is you want to isolate your video to a singular topic, right? And you want to isolate that video to a singular topic. And as you're going through the process of making your videos, and I know you're doing vlogs or people are like following you around or whatever, but as you're going through the process of making your video, try to keep it focused on like a thing. And that's what you're going to package the whole video around. Another thing that's really important, kind of the elephant in the room, so to speak, is in your thumbnails, it's basically you with just text that says Living Alone Diaries. So what I want you to think about is...
You all right?
Yep. If you were to log...
270,000 views now.
Nice.
Man. Travis, MVP in the house. He says, I'm old. I've been a member of this channel
since the mid-90s.
Since the mid-90s. Back when Run DMC was charting.
Yep. Back since he was little.
Back since that's right.
Love it.
Yep. Back
Absolutely
in the day.
Yep.
Back when Dougie
Grew
Fresh.
up in the 90s.
Back when Dougie Fresh.
Yep.
And the Jerky Boys.
Yep.
Remember them?
Mm-hmm.
The Human Jock Box.
Yep.
Travis, you remember that? Were you around back then? I knew you were.
On my way to pick you up today, I was listening to Too Short.
Too Short.
Yeah, like old school Too Short. Old school? Holy cow.
Yeah.
Like the audio quality and everything, I'm like, whoa. Man, have we come a long way.
We have come a long way.
Like it's crazy. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. Thank you, Travis.
Back when you both had hair.
But
listen, I had hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Yeah, they were the good old days. Yeah. The before times, before everything was like crazy and everybody hated each other and like all that stuff. Now, at that time, it was just like, hey, man, what are you guys doing this weekend? Cool. You want to meet up at Big Lots and like ride on this dirt thing for like 5 hours straight?
Right.
On our bicycles?
Right.
Like, yeah, let's do it.
And
yeah,
it's great. Even music was just a lot. I don't know. It was just a lot more. It wasn't wholesome because, but it was, I don't know. It's just not as.
When I first left the place today, I was listening to the Charlie Daniels Band, and Devil Comes Down to Georgia. That's not wholesome in any way.
I mean, that's pretty.
But that's
hardcore.
rap, though.
Yeah.
Like, really, it is. It's rap.
Yeah.
Like, when you think of Charlie Daniels Band, you don't think rap, but I mean, really, that's rap. It's just, it's just a different, rapping around the rap
with the fiddle.
Right. It is. Yeah. But back on the vlog channel here. So one thing that I want you to think about here, Alexis, is that if you just logged onto YouTube right now and you had your mobile phone open and you're sitting there and you're just going through your YouTube feed, if a thumbnail showed up in your feed of just a random person that you don't know,
Too Short,
of just a random person that you don't know, and the title was how you have the title together and all that stuff, would you make the choice to watch that content or not? Right? Some people have. Like, you got 104 videos on this one, 176 on another one. So some people have. But the idea I'm trying to express is that right now, one thing that I would try to do, the thing that I think you're doing right here is because you do have living alone diaries, like in the thumbnail. So people that are living alone, stuff like that, they can relate to that side of it, right? So there, I think that's like one thing that you're doing that kind of, makes that relevant to some people. But everything else, not so much. So first, I would try to have one singular topic around every video that you publish, right? That's your vlog. That's what you're doing. Try to make it, interesting in the title. Do not have living alone diaries at the beginning of all your videos. Best practices for YouTube. And I recommend that you go to youtube.com/creators. They have an educational resource that's going to help you get started. But when it comes to your titles, best practices, if you're going to put show names or something like that in the title, you want to make sure you put them at the very end of the title. And the reason for that is because YouTube cuts off titles all over the platform, stuff like that. And you want to make sure
They truncate.
And you want to make sure that the thing that would matter to the viewer is as close to the front of the title as possible. So because of that, you want to move that Living Alone Diaries to the end, or really I recommend that you just completely remove it, like, because there's no real reason for it. So I would just take that off entirely, and then I would just optimize your videos or basically build out your titles and your thumbnails around a singular topic instead.
So speaking about music, and it just random thought came in. When this stream is over, those of you who are around listening to music back in the 80s and the 90s, when the stream is over today, go to YouTube and look at the videos, like #1 Billboard hits in the 80s, #1 Billboard hits in the 90s. People are compiling #1 hits, like every time, like every #1 Billboard hit for like the entire decade.
Oh, nice.
It's unbelievable. You want to go down memory lane, like you completely forget these people existed, but wow, they had like a #1 hit in like 1984 or something like that. But two things you're going to notice is that Madonna and Mariah Carey
owned it all.
Yeah, Mariah came obviously later than Madonna, but those just absolutely just ruled supreme in terms of just hits. One hit after another, after another, after another. Like you forget, you're like, wow, yeah, incredible. Back at it.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it, man. That was my piece.
Yep, that was
I just
it.
want to get that out there.
Yep, you got it out.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
It feels great.
Good.
Because you'll binge watch that stuff.
Yep.
You will binge watch it. Yeah. Believe me, you're going to binge watch it. Hey, you got a super chat.
Kev Goes says, what would be considered an acceptable click-through rate on a video that has a lot of impressions? So the average click-through rate on YouTube is between 2% and 10%. Of course, as you get more views on the or more impressions on the video, it typically pushes those numbers down. I've seen videos with like millions and millions and millions and millions of views on them with like a 1 point something % click-through rate. And the whole idea is just because it's been showed to so many people that just at scale, it just didn't hold up. I've also seen on the flip side of that videos with 50 views on them or 8 views on them that have like a 13% click-through rate. Yeah. So in terms of an acceptable click-through rate, what I recommend that you do, Kev, is that you go through all of the videos on your YouTube channel that have performed well, and you chart down the impressions on them, and you say, okay, at these different impression lines, how have each one of these videos performed, and you start getting an idea that way. Basically, like, okay, my high performing videos on my channel with my content for the audience that I'm serving with this content, this is how they responded at these different impression levels. And then from there, do the same exact thing on your videos that didn't do that great, and start going in and developing a baseline for your channel based on your content and how people respond to things. You can also isolate this based on your content pillars or your content buckets to where you're like, okay, when I do videos about these types of things, this is usually the general response once it gets to this many impressions. If it's this many impressions and it falls under this, usually it ends up not performing that well, and you can start to identify those things over time. You can do it around the channel as a whole. You can do it in content buckets as well. But the idea is to use the content that's already in your channel as a guide to figure out what good looks like for your channel, because it's different for different genres. It's different for, different creators. Other things to keep in mind when you're doing that is when you're looking at the click-through rate, also try to determine like, okay, was it the actual thumbnail and title that did this, or really is it the topic? Because, topic is the king. It's always the king. Like, you can have an okay thumbnail, but if the topic is just off the charts in terms of just high general interest, then that video is still going to do okay, as long as once people click into it that, they respond well to the video content. So, but just look at the topic also. Don't just look at what was I doing in the thumbnail? What was this about? All that. Yeah, you do want to look at what it's about, but don't just look at like, okay, what am I doing in the thumbnail? What was I focused on? You want to look at those things, but you also want to consider the topic, right? Because the topic's really important. But yeah, once you get that baseline for your channel, then it will help you be able to identify what looks good for you and your channel. But the general on YouTube, or the average on YouTube, is between 2% and 10%.
Poodle Professor says, in context to the songs, the music videos, they say, how do they use those songs without copyright strikes? So they're getting copyright claims, which means the rights holder, which is probably the record companies, the record labels themselves, they're putting a claim on any revenue that those videos make. And they're going to divvy that up, that pie, they're going to cut that up. They're going to get lots and lots of claims.
Rachel Smets, next up. Been on YouTube for a year or more, educational content, communication skills. I thought you were doing like 9 to 5 stuff on your channel. But anyway, communication skills. Goal of the channel is more views, average view duration, and returning viewers. Question. Currently using a celebrity to show how to improve communication skills. Doing so, I went from 100 to 1,000 views. Very happy, but very, very time consuming watching tons of videos to create one video. Any suggestions for other buckets related to that could be quicker in research time? So one thing that's probably happening there is you're basically leveraging something that's popular already to be able to, grab people's attention and pull them into the content. So it's smart. When it comes to watching the videos and having, not having to spend as much time there, one thing I just want to put a big spotlight on is the thing that you are spending more time on and putting that extra research into. That is the stuff that's performing better than the stuff that you're not spending that time on. So that might be kind of like an elephant in the room, to kind of highlight there. But in terms of other things that you might be able to do, I think, using celebrities in any capacity, if you're talking about communication, is a win, but also digging into problems that people have. Because if you're talking about communication, you have just things that are just built into humans. So if you look into those things at scale and figure out the things that people are concerned with the most that you can try to help them solve.
Like kidneys,
so for example,
things that are built into humans, like kidneys,
no
spleens.
Like for example, if you are going to talk about, overcoming the fear of public speaking, right?
Emotions.
That's a huge thing that people, have to deal with. If you are talking about, managing people or, something like that, and the communication involved with that to make sure that you're, communicating in an effective way, but not too abrasive and all that good stuff. Like if you're doing that sort of thing, then that's also something that a lot of people have to deal with because there's a lot of people that have those positions. But basically just sitting down and thinking to yourself, like at scale, for everybody I know, even asking friends, people hopping on Google, maybe asking in like Facebook groups, things like that around communication, figuring out what the biggest struggles are around communication, making content about that. And then by doing that, I would also still do the celebrity thing also because that's bringing people in, but then use the other things to basically tap into just the things that people have the most problems with.
Brian G. Johnson says, Prince.
Brian G. Johnson in the house. I listened to Purple Rain the other day, too.
God, dude,
whole thing. Oh, it's great.
That is still a masterpiece.
It is.
And, so I was watching this.
Sitting in the cockpit upstairs. Yeah, just sitting back, listening to Purple Rain. Oh, it's great. Yeah.
So did you ever watch the Usher Super Bowl halftime?
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So I watched that. A part of that, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember when Prince played Purple Rain in the rain."
In the rain, yeah,
yeah. And I went back and watched that again. Man, jeez,
that's great.
Purple Rain in the rain.
Yeah,
there's behind the scenes video of that where the people were scared to death he was going to get electrocuted, like all the production guys.
Sure.
And Prince is like, I'm going out.
Indestructible. I'm going anyway.
No,
you know who I am?
Yeah,
right.
I'm the purple one.
Yeah,
yeah. And he went out there, and they were scared to death he was going to get electrocuted.
That would have been like TV history,
right?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to cut away.
Yeah,
yeah.
And a word from our sponsor.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's just beautifully shot too. The way the lights were, and it's just raining. And he just, oh my God, I'm gonna watch that tonight.
All right,
you should too.
Yeah. Fretboard Diaries next up on our list here. They do guitar related content. The goal of the channel is to educate and help beginner and novice guitar players. I'm gonna go ahead and just subscribe over here really quick.
Yeah,
I think I might be subscribed.
Got a lot of Prince fans in here.
It's good. Everybody should be a Prince fan.
Man, I saw him a couple times. I saw him in a tiny club in Detroit. It was like, we got word, people that was in the club industry, Prince is doing like this pop-up show in Detroit, and we drove up to Detroit, and it was like this tiny little club. Yeah. And dude, he just shredded. It was amazing.
I'd expect nothing less.
Yeah. And then one night after he played in Ohio, and we were at a club afterwards, and it was like Prince was having an after party. And it was like they had this the corner that was like sectioned off, and we played in the clubs. We kind of had access, but we couldn't have access to where Prince was. So he had this after party, and he was like cornered off, and he had his own security thing, and he was just like by himself in the corner, just like it was like this shadow. It was just like Prince sitting in a corner, and like this party, like the party was raging, but he wasn't talking to anybody, wasn't hanging out with anybody. He was just by himself in the corner the entire time. It was awkward. It was like he'd look at Prince in the corner.
Interesting story.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So Fretboard Diaries, back on that. So just subscribe to your YouTube channel because I'm trying to learn how to play guitar right now. So let's see here. The type of channel is guitar-related content. The goal of the channel is to help beginners and novice guitar players. The question is, I recently did a brand deal with a guitar company where they sent me a guitar for review for the channel. My question is, if I continue to use this guitar in videos, playing it, promoting it, do I still need to mark the video as a paid promotion? Could simply playing it be seen as promotion? So what I would do in that particular scenario is, because you've already marked it as a paid promotion, which it was, like the only thing was that you were commissioned to do for that one video. Therefore, you mark that one and you're clear there. The next thing that I would do is I would just make your videos as normal. And if you are using the guitar, you can do things to where if you wanted to go, this route, I would put the disclaimer down in my description, not even as a disclaimer. I would just be like, hey, they sent me this guitar, for another video that I made, blah, 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 and then put a link to that video there. But one thing that you could do is, like, let's say that you're like leaning over to like get the guitar or something like that, or you have it in your lap or whatever, and you're like, yeah, we're gonna play this, whatever. You can just do a quick mention, say, yeah, they sent me this, so we're gonna see what it sounds like on this, and then just that really quick mention is more than enough. Technically, you don't have to. Is like, I would just put it in the description just to be like cool about it and let people know. But the thing that you were commissioned to do, you already did it. So technically, when you have relationships with companies and things like that, you are supposed to disclose those relationships according to the FTC, which is why, I made the mention of like, hey, just a quick, like, hey, they sent this to me. Let's see what it sounds like on this, something like that. But one thing that I've found with that is it becomes problematic. Like once you start working with, the companies in your industry, then it's almost like everything that you talk about, then you got to make that mention. And in my opinion, it's a headache. So because of that, like I would definitely put those disclaimers where you need to and try to remember it when you can. But I wouldn't be too, like, I wouldn't stress out about it is what I'm getting at. Like disclose it where you are being paid for that video, and then disclose it in like your description and stuff. That's what a lot of, it's what a lot of people are currently doing. Because I run into that too on like some of the guitar channels I'm watching, because I always go into video descriptions to look and see what people have. Because for me, like what I'm looking for is I'm looking for like my favorite gear, stuff like that, because I'm just learning how to play. So I'm just looking for like stuff that people recommend, and I'm checking it out, looking at reviews, and just seeing if it's something that I might find useful or whatever. And I am running across that on like some guitar channels and stuff. Next up. Derek J reacts, and Republic of Me says some sponsor deals aren't worth taking. Absolutely. Some are not. That is true, but some definitely are. So Derek J reacts. They do reaction channel. The goal of the channel is to react to a body cam arrest, and I point out the stupid mistakes people make in order to help others not make the same mistakes.
Nice.
Question, in your opinion, what are the best sites to use for selling merch? So I would use Spreadshop for that. That's what I use for mine. You can actually see it down on the merch shelf right now, so you can check it out. There's a bunch of different options. I know YouTube directly connects to Spreadshop, which is why that one's a good one to use, because it can show up right underneath your videos. They also connect directly to Teespring as well, which also shows up next or right underneath your videos. I know they connect. You can connect through Shopify, and through Shopify, you'd be able to use pretty much anything that you wanted there. But I know, like, Teespring, Spreadshop, like Redbubble. What else? What else we got for merch? Amazon merch. They have their own merch over there as well.
Yeah.
So what I recommend is, if you're going to do merch, and if you're going to do merch that isn't logo based, and what I mean by that is, if you're doing, like, if you're just uploading stuff, like on my merch store, I've got, some stuff that just says like Nimmin on it, but then I've got other stuff that is just things that are, like subscribe or, something like that any content creator, could enjoy. So with things like that, if you have content that to where they, or merch to where they don't have to know who you are in order to enjoy that merch, then in that particular case, you should put it everywhere. But then just find the ones that connect to YouTube, like Spreadshop, and then use that one to connect your YouTube channel to, so that it shows up on the shelf underneath your videos.
Good advice.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So next up, we got Ben and Bo's Cat Sanctuary. They do cat videos. The goal is to earn money and save more cats. And the question is, I need some advice specific to animal videos and nonprofit.
We were just talking about cats today. I was telling him about cats' reflexes, because I'm fascinated with videos where like snakes will try to strike a cat, and the cats will just, every time, they just spring up and just barely get out of the way. Fascinated with that. I could watch a million of those. Binge watch them. I'll binge watch your channel.
And YouTube's like, 1 million, huh?
Yeah.
guess what I got for you?
Guess what I got
for the next
you?
few months.
Right. A million cats jumping away from a million snakes.
Yeah.
Yep. Today's your lucky day. Renee's right. Got it.
Cat video. He's scrolling faster and faster, and just more cat videos are popping up.
Renee's sending the email right now to headquarters.
Yeah.
D. Nimmin wants a bunch of snakes attacking cat videos, but the cats have to get away.
Yep, just cat video, cat video. Yep.
Yeah.
Opened your mobile device, it's just all cat videos.
All cat videos, yeah.
Your YouTube search, you're like, how to tie a tie. And it's like a cat tying a tie. It's
Right.
like, what's going on?
What's going on? I think Malkovich.
You know how YouTube, like, they sometimes do like the little fun things, like, I don't know if it even still works, but they used to have a thing where if you typed in like,
They had like
it was like Luke, I'm your father, or something like that. Then
yeah.
it would like cause things to kind of move around, stuff like that.
Yeah, back when
like,
YouTube was cool.
it would be
Back when
great.
Google was cool.
Right. Back before they were evil.
That's right. Back
Yeah.
when they don't be evil.
Right.
Listen, you got rid of that and it all fell apart.
But it's kind of how it goes. But
You let the evil in.
but there
and you
would
don't
be
do-
it would be awesome if they had like cat mode. So basically, you just turn that cat mode on,
Yes.
and every video see on like any topic that could possibly be about it
Cat mode.
had like a cat version that
I
popped up.
co-sign this.
Yeah,
Renee,
that'd be
get on
great.
it. Get on it, Renee.
Yep, cat mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says
You know
those
what?
who control the cat videos control the galaxy.
That's
See,
right.
see, I
See?
knew it. I knew there's a bigger
I
thing at
don't
play
want
here.
to be a creator on a platform that doesn't have cat mode.
Cat mode.
And I think
So it's like light mode, dark mode, cat mode. Yeah.
And I believe at my core that if we all got together and protested and we all just refused to upload until they made
cat mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they got enough content to not even
No,
really
no,
care
all
that
of us.
much.
All
Yeah.
of us.
But I mean, that's already there.
We all just
We'd
go-
have to unlist everything.
We private.
Yeah.
Everything goes unlisted or private. Yeah.
Pri-
Everything.
Privating until cat mode.
Everybody.
And
Mr.
then YouTube's
Beast,
like,
Mark Rober,
we're just going to remove the
all
private
of them.
button. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
Yeah, I think they hold all the cards in this
I don't
scenario.
know.
I think so.
I don't know. I think they would buckle. I think they would buckle. I think all we need is like one Mr. Beast to be like, you know what? I'm not going to upload anymore.
Yep.
I'm going to private all my videos until you guys handle the cat stuff.
Yeah, until we get some cat. Yeah,
Yeah,
until we
I
get some
think
cat
they'd buckle.
videos in here.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
they
so
would
it's like how to
ban-
make a cake. It's like how cats make a cake.
How cats make a cake. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the serious stuff here. So I need some advice specific to Nimmin videos. Those don't seem to be discussed much in the research that I've done on how to grow a channel. I'm a social media user and just fumbling along. Okay.
How to get swole like a cat.
So here's the thing. How to get abs like a cat. Yeah. So
5-minute cat abs.
oh, that'd be great. So
Cats reviewing movies.
Cat's perspective on The Force Awakens. Yeah, it's great. So when it comes to cat videos, the rules still apply. So it doesn't matter what content you're uploading to YouTube. It doesn't matter if it's gaming videos, entertainment videos, cat videos, cooking videos, crafting videos. It doesn't matter what it is, vlogs, anything. We all are beholden to the same rules. So those rules are, if we want to get a response out of our content, then when YouTube shows it to people, people need to respond to that content. So that means that either in our shorts or in our long form videos that we need to be able to grab their attention at one point, which in a YouTube shorts is going to happen in the video content when it first pops up. Sometimes the thumbnail, if it's showing somewhere else on YouTube, trying to pull people into the short shelf. If it's a thumbnail, then in that particular case, we got to be able to grab their attention there as well and then pull them into the content. But once they're in the content has to be interesting enough for just a random person on the internet that would be interested in that type of content enough to click on it. It has to be put together well enough that those people will watch that content and interact with that content in a way that will deem it as a satisfactory experience for YouTube, or for that viewer, so that YouTube will log it as a satisfactory experience for them. When that happens, from there, then YouTube will be like, okay, these people enjoyed this content, so let's find other people on the platform that are also using YouTube in a similar way, watching similar content, looking for similar things, choosing not to click on other things, stuff like that. And we're going to show some of this content to them. If those people continue to respond to it in a positive way, then in that particular case, they're going to show it to more and more people. So the good part of that is it ensures that good content rises on YouTube. The downside of that is that as somebody that's just wanting to put together videos of, cats and put them up on the internet, it starts requiring a lot more, to where it's not just, hey, let me just, record this video of my cat running across the room or whatever. But now I actually have to start, making like legitimate content, with or about this cat. That's where things start, getting a little bit more complicated. But because we are all, beholden to those rules, to our content that we publish, it has to be good enough to be competitive within the system. If you're publishing videos and they are competitive within the system in terms of people are clicking on them, or they're just, reacting well to it in a short. But if it's long form and they're clicking on it, or landscape, and they're clicking on it and they go into the videos and it is something that they enjoy, then in that particular case, it'll end up doing okay. But the problem is learning how to make content that people will enjoy. Sometimes people will do it naturally. Other times people need to learn how to do that sort of thing. So some things that have worked for animals in the past is, I know there's been like, dog content that's went viral to where it's like the dog is actually talking, but it's not actually, talking, or to where the person's kind of voiceovering the dog and that kind of stuff. Same thing with like some cat videos. Those types of things are things that you can do, but those are things that do require content and thinking it out and thinking like, okay, if somebody's going to watch this part, then, how can I lead them into this next part and so on. So it still requires a lot of that stuff. Back in the day, you could upload, pretty much whatever to YouTube and you might be able to expect some views from it. But now there's just so much content on the platform, so many people that are coming onto YouTube trying to be content creators and just plugging so much content into the system like constantly that like you really have to get to work learning how to make good content. And when you do get to the point where the content's good, then people will start responding better. You'll start earning money from it, and you'll also start, being able to spread more awareness about, the nonprofit stuff that you're doing for cats. But right now, it's really going to come down to, even though it's cat videos, it's really going to come down to that. Next up, we got Dragon Fire, I think is how you say that. They do music content. The goal of the channel is to translate Eurovision songs from the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. The question is, because of copyright strikes, the channel was abandoned. But lately, the channel blew up with some anime fans with one cartoon episode singing one of the videos. The audience is wrong, young versus old, and the question is how to take advantage, if any. Well, if you're getting copyright strikes on the channel and stuff like that, like all you're doing there is you're just kind of waiting it out until YouTube ends up giving you that like final strike. If you're getting them quickly, then you're just kind of waiting it out until that happens. If you continue to do the Eurovision songs from the 60s through the 90s, then you're eventually going to hit that threshold to where you're going to publish that last video that is going to get that last copyright strike within that last 90-day period, and then you're going to end up losing the channel anyway. So what I would do is I would start making content around something where you don't have that risk involved.
Don't play with fire.
Yep. It's an easy way to put that. Love it. Uncovering DC, daily content. They do a history and education channel. The goal is to attract younger viewers. And the question is, what do I need to do in order to attract a larger audience? My audience is 81% male, ages 55 and up.
55 and up. That would be your demographic.
Yep. So the goal of the channel is to attract younger viewers. Whoa, what'd you say?
Nothing.
Oh. So the goal of the channel is to attract younger viewers. So in that particular case, you want to talk about things that younger people care about. You're talking about history. Some younger people talk about history, but it's usually people that are a little bit more mature that are, more interested in history. Because at some point, you might start caring about those sort of things to where when you're younger, you don't even really care. If you're even aware of it in the first place, you might not care as much. Some people do. But in terms of like at scale, I would say, that topic is more of a older person thing. So because of that, what I would do is I would try to think of how you could actually design the content in a way to make it more interesting to younger people. The way that you would do that, and I'm just brainstorming with you here, the way that you could do that is you could start relating history to things that are happening currently. So basically take, things that are happening now that would matter to younger people and start making the connections between that or the comparisons between that and things that have happened historically, and use those as the way that you bring attention in. And then since you are, spreading awareness about, history, then in that particular case, you use the things that, that younger demographic is interested in to bring them in. And then while you're talking about that, you're also loading history into that, or you're making, the comparisons in history or whatever. I would try to go that route as a way to, try to get them on board. Any additional ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I would.
So in that way, you're talking about history, but it's history, about
Their
things that would
channels
matter.
about history.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a tough one.
history and education.
Yeah, that's a tough one. If you are going over education, I might also dip my toes into content where you're going. And I don't know what level of education you're going into, but I would look. There's a lot going on in the world, and I think a lot of schools are failing the younger generations coming up. I would try to help younger people figure out how they're going to pivot once they get out of school to how to, better position themselves in life because things are changing rapidly.
But how would you relate that to history, though?
Well, you said history and education.
Yeah.
I'm just focused on education.
Oh, got it. Yeah, but I think it's more like history education.
Oh. Well,
Yeah,
you
sorry.
did be clear.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Don't be
I shouldn't have said
history and education.
Yeah,
Words
history and
matter.
education. They do.
Become an effective communicator,
I know,
little
right?
brother.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Hey, man, I thought
Okay.
you'd get me, man.
No.
I thought you'd get me.
Okay, if it's in relation to history, that's tough, man. Yeah, that's tough. I think what you said is a good idea, but that's tough. Again, I don't know what age you're trying to reach, but when I'm
Just trying to get under that 55, 55 crowd.
yeah, I guess try to define it. Like, how young are you trying to go? Right? If you're trying to go for people in their 20s, you're trying to go for people in their 30s and the 40s. I try to dial that in. Who am I trying to reach? And then figure out what they're interested in, and then try to do exactly what you said. Try to relate. That's a tough one, though.
It is. Pixie Dust Traveler, what's going on? Welcome to the stream.
And history and education.
Jerry, what's going on? They're on the road picking up their new puppy today. Hey, congratulations on the new puppy.
Yeah.
It's great news. Love it. Love it. Love it. So Crop Master is our next channel here. The type of channel is family simulator gameplay videos, farming simulator gameplay videos. The goal of the channel is I want to earn a few bucks and learn how to do YouTube better. And the question is, could you do a review on my channel? I'm not doing those here. We do those. I actually just had a review stream that I did yesterday on the Tube Spanner channel.
They have farming simulation channels.
Yeah.
Learn something new. So last time it was a roller coaster simulation.
Yeah,
And
farming
now it's
simulation.
farming simulation.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
It is.
Yeah.
So if you go to my community feed right now, you'll see the link that I shared to the Tube Spanner channel review stream. So just click on that, subscribe to it, make sure you have the notifications turned on, and then when we do the next one, then you'll see it pop up there. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. I have notifications on because I do share those in my community feed too. Next, we've got Uncharted Leather. They do crafting content.
Very cool.
The goal of the channel is to become a full-time YouTuber in this space. Question. Hey, gents, thanks for taking my question. I've started this channel a year ago, left it due to moving to another country, and now I'm back and ready to make it. How do I grow the channel in this niche? Any strategies to bring in eyeballs, be it the platform or outside of the platform, that you might recommend? My goal is to make a full-time business and income from it through ads, sponsorships, e-products rather than physical products. Thanks. So you are doing crafting content.
But you don't want to do physical products.
So, well, they can do like affiliate, but I think that they're wanting
They don't want to make their own
They don't want to
product and
make
sell
stuff.
them.
Yeah. So if you're doing crafting content, then in that particular case, I'm not sure what, area of crafting that you're doing. But I would basically just try to, make crafts around things that are popular if you're going to be doing this for business. Make crafts around things that are popular, that require people to buy things on a regular basis. That always has new things coming out, if possible. So
They're in Denmark, so shipping is like $50 per sale.
oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So when you publish videos to YouTube, they're going to be going out to an international audience. If you're speaking English, you're going to have people in the US, UK, anybody who speaks English is going to be able to consume that, which is good. So you can do affiliate marketing as part of that. So basically I would do any crafts that are dedicated to a specific craft. So basically figure out what exact crafts that you're going to be doing and try to do something that has good crossover. So for example, I wouldn't necessarily do like resin pouring as one thing and then do something that's completely different, like cosplay making on the other side. Instead, I would try to make sure that everything that you're publishing to the channel is in alignment with each other. So for example, like if we use that resin thing, then in that case, like all the videos on your channel are about making stuff with resin, just as an example. So I would find something like that so that you can be the resource for teaching people how to do that. And then from there, you can build courses around it. You can promote things as an affiliate, so you can promote all the different molds that you use, the different resins that you use, wherever people can buy those on Amazon and things like that. You can create courses, which I think I said already.
You did.
You can do affiliate stuff. Yeah, those types of things. And here you said selling PDF patterns, that kind of thing. Yeah, you can absolutely do that as well. But yeah, I would find that one thing, focus on that thing, become a resource for that thing, just like I do for YouTube. Right. So I teach content creators how to thrive on YouTube. So if a content creator runs into my channel, then they can go and look through my content. And they find a bunch of stuff that's relevant to them. And then through that process, there's some videos where I'm recommending different tools and resources, like this live stream when it started, and like this TubeBuddy logo that you see up here, where I'm recommending, tools and resources for content creators. Out of all the people that interact with my channel, a decent amount of people, they'll go and they'll check out those things for the things that the content creators find use in. Then they'll purchase those things. In some cases, they're a subscription, and then they will start using those things on a regular basis, and I get like a commission on that every single time somebody re-ups their subscription for the month. So there's those sorts of things, but the reason I'm able to do that is because my entire YouTube channel is about helping content creators thrive. So what you want to do is you want to think of like I'm going to be a crafting channel that helps people really learn how to do this thing. And then I'm going to, create all of these resources around, teaching people how to do that thing.
When I was building my Mandalorian costume, cosplay, a lot of the stuff I have is made out of leather, and I had no idea how to work with leather. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos on leathercraft, just learning about how to dye the leather, how to punch a hole in the leather, how to put a belt together, how to connect the leather together. I went down the rabbit hole, and I don't know if this is in your wheelhouse, but there are specific crafts makers and specific leather makers who just focus on that cosplay. And at that time, I would have probably purchased, if it was something that would have fit my costume, I would have probably purchased some PDFs on patterns on how to build like specific parts.
I know you did download some stuff, didn't you? I think you got something for like the Stormtrooper chest that you built, didn't you?
No, I downloaded some. It wasn't for leather. It was for. So I have my actual Mandalorian helmet, but I wanted to try making a helmet out of. So I got some parts for that. But yeah. Okay. But yeah, I would have purchased, if it was something I was really looking for, some sheaths for knives or something like that. So yeah, don't think about that for cosplayers. There's lots of people who are looking for how they can build different costumes. So I don't know who you're trying to market to, but I would have probably paid for something like that. Especially like if there's, for example, Dune's out, right? Probably a little bit late, but Dune, maybe some of if people are going to be into cosplaying Dune, maybe some of the accessories that they have that might have been made out of leather. Maybe you could sell some of the PDF patterns. Just brainstorm in there, but you could ride some of those trends as well.
Renegade's Garage is our next question here. But first, hold on. Uncovering DC says, thank you for the suggestions. Our pleasure. Thank you for the super chat also.
I'll show you what I would have wanted a sheath.
Renegade's Garage, they upload bi-weekly. They have an automotive channel. The goal of the channel is helping people make proper repairs and help them purchase the correct tools to do the repairs. The question is, why do some of my videos do well and some struggle to get views? Because people respond better to the videos that do well. That's why they do well. So the important thing to think about, that we all have to think about at all times when we publish a video, is that what we see on our videos, when we publish something and it gets a high view count on it, it's a reflection. That's it. So basically, those views are basically a reflection of how people responded to the content. If you take YouTube and you just break everything down to the most simple idea, it really comes down to YouTube is a response system. That's it. You publish something, the better people respond, the more people are going to see it. The less that people respond, the less people are going to see it. And by respond, I mean they're clicking on it at a competitive rate, they're watching it for a competitive rate, they're engaging, at a competitive rate, they're sharing it at a competitive rate, like all the things that matter, to the system, all the many things that they track, that they are getting that satisfactory experience at a competitive rate. And if we are underperforming with our videos and we're not getting the views that we want, that means that we have to learn how to get a better response. Basically, we can't do anything that will make people respond to our content outside of making good content. So if you're not getting that response that you're after, then in that particular case, you got to, one, make sure that you're making, good topics, right? Because that's, again, that's the most important thing. But then within that topic, you got to make sure that you are, making good content, and you'll immediately see it when you publish something and people start responding to it well. Like you instantly see it, like, oh, okay, yeah, they really like this. And sometimes our version of what is good and best isn't always what the audience wants, right? Sometimes we'll publish something and we'll be like, they're probably not going to respond as, that great to this, and they'll love it. Other times it's like, oh, they're going to love this. Like my thumbnail video that I published, my thumbnail A/B testing video. I was like, man, people are talking about this on Reddit, Facebook, Discord, everywhere. Everybody like wants to see it. Everybody's like trying to figure out what's going on with YouTube's A/B testing tool. Published a video about, hey, here's a preview of YouTube's A/B testing tool. It's been on the platform, I think, for like 2 weeks now, maybe even 3. It doesn't even have 10,000 views on it yet. So that one, and in my particular case, I expected a lot more out of it, but it wasn't a good video, or the topic, it just didn't land, or the way that I packaged it wasn't right, or whatever the thing was, and it didn't get the response, and therefore that video, is the result of not getting that response. So what I do is I learn from that. I'm like, okay, well, that didn't get a good response, so therefore, next time maybe we don't drop something about a new feature that that maybe there's been enough awareness about to where it's people are buzzing about it, but nobody really cares that much to, talk about it, or maybe I just need to make a better video next time. Right. So, so when it comes to the whole system, it really comes down to like, just how good are we at getting people to respond to what it is that we're doing? And the better that you get at that, the better you're going to do on the platform as a whole.
Renee,
and that's YouTube in a nutshell. There's tons of nuance in it, but that's YouTube in a nutshell.
Renee, here's my cow dagger. Renee will appreciate this. It's my Mandalorian cow dagger. And this is one of the things I was looking up to learn about leather for, how to wrap it and stuff like that. I might get you with this before the night's over.
Okay, let's do it. It's on. Yeah. Relieve me from this misery. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Relieve me from this misery that we call life. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. So, Crop Master uploads when they have time. The type of channel is farming simulator gameplay videos. The goal of the channel is making a couple of bucks and maybe learning more about YouTube. And the question is, could you do a review of my channel? Nope.
Negative.
Next up, we got Colin Michael. Colin Michael's doing this for money. The question is, have you started using the new multi-language feature? And if so, have you seen an increase in views on those videos yet? Maybe a dedicated video in the future. So I put one language into one video, and then right before this stream is, right before we went live, like literally right before we went live, I finished loading the full set into the first video, which is that same thumbnail testing video that I was talking about before. So I put it into that one just to see, like, hey, if this goes out internationally, I wonder if people will care. But from here forward, what I'm going to do is the videos that have already been proven performers on the channel that are still relevant. Like if it's an old piece of software or something, then not so much. But as long as it's something that's still getting impressions and it's still relevant now, then I'm going to go through and start doing those. So I'll be able to update you on that one. Say, give me like 30 days. I should have, some type of information on that.
I love how he's just like, what's the goal? Money.
Yep. I mean, that's
putting it. I love it.
Putting it out there. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's treating it as a business.
Right.
This is my business.
Right.
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 He's not like, I'm trying to get 1 million subscribers, or no, I'm making money. I've turned YouTube into my business.
Right.
I love it.
So Renee says, aside from the broadness of appeal of the topic, one of the big differences in how a video makes the viewer feel. They often won't remember the details, but they'll remember the feeling. Yep. Then he says here, A/B testing is still very limited with 50,000 channel. It should roll out most, if not all, creators sometime this year. Yep.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. I think it's cool that they're just doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But they are.
And I also, and right here, Chatty Cathy says, I didn't care hear anything about the A/B testing because I don't have it yet. Perhaps the vid would have done better at a later date. Yeah, that's where timing is also important, right? Like what I was gauging it on was the kind of the buzz around it. Like if you go on Facebook groups and stuff, people are talking about like, hey, A/B testing, anybody have it, blah, blah. And you see it on Reddit and you see it on Facebook and in Discords and stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay, this is an opportunity here. So I put it out and it just flatlined.
Yeah, Renee, I know you.
But that's great insight, though. She's like, yeah, I didn't hear anything about it, and I don't have it yet, so, like, it doesn't matter. So, yeah.
I know Renee gives feedback, and I just want to let you know that if I had to choose between an A/B tool or ABC tool or cat mode.
Cat mode all day.
Cat mode.
Yeah, all day.
It's not even a question.
Not even, no context.
And I speak on behalf of every YouTuber.
Yeah, and every viewer.
Every viewer.
Yeah, because that's what's
every
important.
viewer, every YouTuber out there.
Yeah.
Every user would prefer cat mode.
Yeah, definitely.
Just pass, run that up the chain, if you will.
Yep. Cat dark mode. That's like whole other level stuff right there. We're not even ready for that one yet, Chantel.
Hey,
hit the brakes.
Hey, whoa.
Yeah, calm down.
Hold on.
Calm down.
This is why Doug lost subscribers.
Calm down.
We don't talk about cat dark mode.
Yeah, that's hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on now.
Whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
Pump the brakes a little bit there.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's a, yeah. Whew.
Whoa.
Yeah. Some things we just don't, some things you just don't talk about in public. Cat dark mode is one of them.
Whoa.
That was close.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up, we've got the Empire of Rust.
I feel a little uncomfortable.
I
now.
love that channel name.
I feel
Empire of
uncomfortable
Rust.
now.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel a little icky.
Yeah, you're like,
after that.
cat dark mode. It's
Cat
kind of,
dark mode.
yeah.
I feel like I need a shower.
I know, right?
It's on me.
So the channel's automotive. The goal of the channel is I enjoy old cars and trucks and daily them and take them to events. And the question is, do thumbnails with a face add improved clickability? It's different. So it depends on the face, depends what it is that you're doing. It depends on the topic of the video. It depends on everything. So the thing with the face is that, yes, the face is a human. That human can grab attention, especially if it has nice, strong eye contact, all that good stuff. It can definitely grab attention. The only thing to think about there is that a lot of people use faces. So therefore you're competing with a lot of faces. So the move here is to test it. So here's what I've found is that sometimes faces work better, sometimes they don't. It really comes down to each individual video. There isn't a set rule that says 100%, no matter what. Every time you publish a video, if you have a face in it, you're going to get more clicks on it. Nope, that doesn't exist.
You can change on traffic sources too.
Right. So one thing that is really humbling is when you do get access to YouTube's ABC testing tool, or you use TubeBuddies to test your thumbnails. When you are testing thumbnails and you're like, hey, let me just try this graphic version that doesn't have me in it, and it performs substantially better than the ones with your face in it, it's pretty humbling. Because then you're like, oh man, now I gotta have this video without my face branding in it, and but you're like, hey, doesn't matter, performance of the video.
Yeah.
Do it for the V in that case, right? Do it for the video.
Yeah.
So with that, just experiment with your content. You can use TubeBuddy's A/B testing tool, and then if you get YouTube's version, then you can use that too, to figure out what works best for your audience. And I'll tell you this too, it varies wildly per video.
Yes.
So it's really difficult to be like, yes, every video is going to be like this from now on, because it does vary wildly from each video.
Yeah. I've tested this a lot, not recently, back when I was heavily into testing thumbnails. I would go as far as when I'd first publish, I'd make sure my face is in the video. Then later on, if I noticed it got a huge pickup in search, sometimes I'd take my face out of the videos and I'd put a phone in there. And sometimes I would mess videos up. I would have a video that's my face isn't in it. It would be like a phone and text. And I was going to test my face on it. I do the stupid YouTube face. Yep. And you just look at it go I was
like, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, well, they don't want to look at me. Yeah, and then put it back and it comes right back up. It's like, all right, so I'm the problem.
Right.
I'm the problem.
Got to own it though, right? It's like, hey, this is what they respond to.
Yeah. Yep. Just one thing to keep in mind. And you know what? Your face might get clicks, but something to keep in mind is, if you're making content about antique cars and
focus
trucks
on that.
And cars.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, think about what your audience would be most interested in. Would they be more interested in your face? No offense, but unless you're famous,
this is what I mentioned about the
vlog
channel earlier.
They don't know your face yet.
Right.
They probably don't know your face unless you're a known personality. But if if you get some really cool pictures made and you make them look really cool in Photoshop or a free app or something like that.
I just published a video on how to do that, and you guys aren't liking that either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So learn how to make the picture cool and learn how to take the best pictures of the cars. Test.
I didn't do it on the cars. I did it on how to process your face.
Oh, yeah. Test that out and look at the biggest channels in your niche to see how they're doing their car pictures. Mm-hmm. See what's working for them and test it out. Yeah.
On that note, I do want to remind you, if you are a new content creator, that this whole thing is a learning curve, just like anything else you're going to do. Just like, if you're playing an instrument or learning a new sport or learning a language, anything like that.
Speaking of learning an instrument, it is this guy over here.
Yeah, I'm getting there. It is.
He's been learning how to play guitar after 40 some odd years.
Mm-hmm.
Which finger do you want to
cut off?
No. I want to put it in here and just kind of twist it like a wrench.
But if you're a new content creator, I do want to remind you that this whole thing is it's a learning curve, just like anything else that you're going to go through in life. So if you are struggling right now, one thing that I do recommend is that you just identify like, hey, I'm not that far down the path yet. Therefore, it's okay to struggle. And I'm going to embrace this process to learn how to make better content so I can get further down the path. Right. So focus on that. Focus on developing the skills around what it is that you're doing. Focus on understanding the audience that you're trying to reach. reach and how you can serve them in the best possible way through the content that you're publishing. And if you repeat that and you're constantly trying to improve and get better with everything that you're doing, then you will end up in that spot that you're trying to get to. But you have to go through that process in order to get there. And on that note, thank you so much for hanging out during the stream today. D, great stream.
Yep.
And Chantel, got to keep that cat dark mode thing under wraps. Got to be careful there.
We're not
trying to disrupt the whole internet here.
We're not ready for that yet.
Yep. So not trying to break all of YouTube just in one, live stream, right? You got to do that stuff over time,
either.
right? Don't want to get shut. Yeah, right. So, but thank you so much for hanging out. Make sure that you check out the description. I got a bunch of helpful tools and resources for you as a content creator down there. So make sure that you check those out. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we Chantel's like, sorry, yeah, love it. So have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.